We're fighting. Yes, we are, sir. It's not so easy. Right now, where the bill stands is the Assembly passed it. Now it's up to the New Jersey State Senate to pass it. But they have to bring it into the Senate first. That hasn't even happened. But then once that happens, then the bill would go right to Governor Chris Christie's desk. And if he would deny you, someone who fought for our country, someone who suffers from PTSD, to use medical marijuana, I mean, I don't want to give you stats because I'll scare you. 22 soldiers a day commit suicide. And some of them actually say, you know what, a little marijuana helps me. It's better than the other drugs that the VA is trying to feed me. You know, and we love our veterans. We support you. And if that helps, so be it, right? So we're fighting. Hopefully this time next year it'll be done. But it's all in that guy, Governor Christie. He got a better shot, you know, having sex with Mother Teresa, pretty much.
Two tours in Vietnam? Yeah.
Here, talk, sir.
Well,
all right.
Yeah. Well, look, we have meetings, open public meetings on the second Tuesday of every month at the Lawrence Township Library from 7 to 9 p.m. You're welcome to come. If you have trouble making the meetings, if you give us your email address, we'll send you monthly updates on what's going on in New Jersey and how you can help to help yourself. Really. Here, let me give you my card. Go to our website, cmmnj.org, cmmnj.org, and give us your email address. Put your email address in there. We'll send you monthly updates on the status of the medical marijuana program in the state of New Jersey. So it's right there. Yeah, well, many people.
I heard all that in the therapy. I heard that in the therapy from the VA will help.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. You're dealing with it in a way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, right. Yeah, the drugs that they prescribe for PTSD are really mostly ineffective and sometimes very dangerous because they themselves have a risk of suicide. But marijuana is a very safe drug. You're not going to hurt yourself by using it, and they found that it helps you to forget those traumatic events of the past. You know, that's one of the main reasons why marijuana is an effective therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. So it really helps people to do away with some of the underlying anxiety and to forget some of the trauma of the past. So many people find it very effective, and that's why we want it available for all veterans and anyone who suffers from PTSD. No, we have some vets here at times, but nobody here is a vet, right? No. No, I'm a registered nurse. I've been an RN in New Jersey for 39 years. Well, I've worked. I spent 22 years in the New Jersey State Prison System as a nurse, a supervisor of nurses. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we sure have. Right. Yeah. Exactly. You know. Right. You know. Instead of getting adequate treatment for our veterans, you know, we find that we're locking them up. You know, we're not realizing that when they act out, it's because of this the trauma. They're not in control of their lives.
Really can't. I mean, it's 1%. The percentage of veterans. I mean, you know, military personnel, past and present, to the regular society is only like 1%.
Right.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. Other people need to hear your story, man, because other people are suffering with PTSD, man.
It is. Yeah, it is. Well, but. Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Man. Come back and talk some more.
Tell us more about your therapy. We'll be very interested in hearing about that. You know, the talk therapy, because that's an important adjunct in the management of post-traumatic stress disorder. Certainly, what is that, Lefty? It looks like a Greek letter or something.
That's TiVo.
Tebow?
It's a Tebow pretzel.
Okay. Oh, I get him. Yeah, the kneeling Tebow pretzel. Excellent. Did you make that like that, William? William, did
Would you like one?
Did you, yes, I would actually. Thank you. So now I'm not going to be able to talk when I eat a pretzel, though. So we have to decide what's the most important thing at this time. Now, Wayne, when you went to the hearing today, did the barbers give you any indication of whether or not? Oh, thank you.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Did Roger Barber give you any indication of whether or not there would be a decision rendered today?
Bro. You're going to have to help Jimmy over here. He's trying to get that to go down, and I don't have a clue.
Slid down, I want to get it back up. Gravity helps get it down.
Oftentimes, you can get a feeling for how these administrative law hearings go, but when you look at the questions that the judges ask, and you look at the general demeanor, the administrative law, it has a different standard than the criminal justice system. I testified before administrative law judges a number of times when I was a state employee, and they go by a preponderance of evidence, not whether or not something is beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's a different level of proof. And I think that we certainly have a great preponderance of evidence that marijuana helps this girl in her schools. We've got the testimony from her doctor. We've got testimony. I submitted testimony. I'm a registered nurse for 39 years here in the state of New Jersey. And we support this girl getting access to her medicine. We think that the girl, a seizure can lead to death. And these uncontrolled seizures that this girl has been having, any one of them can lead to her death. And so that's, there's no question that the harm that the potential harm that the family and the girl faces is far greater than the potential harm that the school faces.
You're kind of hitting right there what Roger's defense, I guess, would be, because it's definitely harmful.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that a judge would disagree with that, and yet he did. The very same judge, Judge Kennedy, who's hearing this OAL hearing today, it's probably over by now, but who heard this OAL hearing today, he was the one who made a ruling on the preliminary application that the school should be giving the girl the medicine pending the outcome of the case. And they said, well, no, it's against federal law. It's the school would be breaking federal law if they did, and they would risk their federal funds. To me, that just doesn't cut it. The whole medical marijuana program in the state of New Jersey violates federal law. That the states have the right. States have the right to establish the practice of medicine within each state. That's why I am a registered nurse in New Jersey, and doctors are registered in the states.
You're hitting right on the head, Ken. The problem is you got a judge, and it's in the state, because that's where this is. This is in the state, and they're trying to play, there being the school, they're trying to play the federal, game. And the problem is, they're in the state courts. So I can't see how, to me, if we're analyzing this, I don't see how the state even agrees with the Lark School. It's impossible. That's why I think this is going to have to go. This is going to have to go to the Supreme Court.
Well, it's definitely going beyond this administrative law judge. That's for sure. If the Barbers win the case, the Lark School and the Maple Shade Board of Education is definitely going to appeal this. Now, the question is, who do they appeal it to? They may appeal it to an appellate court in New Jersey. There was some talk of appealing it to a federal court.
They have to.
If the Barbers win, the school board will appeal it, and if the school board wins, Roger Barber certainly intends to appeal it. He's a lawyer acting on his own behalf. He's representing his child. So
that's a beautiful thing, especially if you get to know his history. He actually was a lawyer for the school districts.
Is that right? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
About
How
that.
ironic, huh?
Yeah.
So he's the guy for us to have there.
Yeah. He's definitely an expert in his field, and he's suing the school board of education, the Lark School and the Maple Shade Board of Education, for not allowing his autistic and epileptic daughter to use medical marijuana at the noontime dose as the doctor prescribed. The daughter has had a remarkable response to marijuana in controlling her epileptic seizures. The poor girl was having seizures constantly. Wayne, the nurse there at the Lark School has no problem giving the girl rectal Valium when she's having a seizure.
Wow, did you just say that?
That's what she gives. She gives rectal Valium.
She's got no problem giving rectal Valium.
Valium, which is
Forget rectal.
Yeah.
Forget Valium, but together rectal Valium.
Yes, I mean the girl's having it when
And
the girl
they won't give that
when the
poor
girl has
little
the
girl-
seizure. Yes, obviously she can't take anything by
Wow.
mouth, and that's a very effective and fast way to interrupt the seizure. And so the schools do this, but they won't give a little bit of marijuana oil at the noontime dose. To me, it makes no sense whatsoever. Absolutely no sense.
Now, when you say, and I'm not trying to make a joke of this, rectal Valium, you're telling me they're willing to pull this kid's pants down,
right,
and insert apparently a Valium suppository into her rectally.
Right.
They have no problem with that.
Right.
But they have a problem with this little girl taking a pill. A pill.
Or an oil, yes.
Well, it's an
right.
oil in
Yeah.
a pill capsule.
Mm-hmm. Or it depends on how it's given. It may be given in food, so it may be a bit of oil in food. But anyway,
that's
right.
That's a no-no.
Right. Yeah.
That's
can't,
a no-no.
They can't do that. To me, it just is so
Common sense,
It's
people.
so right. Common sense.
Common
It really
sense.
is. It is a question of common sense, and that's what we really lose sight of in this war on drugs. We really lose sight of common sense. So many just outrageous situations. I just saw on the internet. I saw a picture of a van that was pulled over, and the police a policeman was questioning the van driver about whether or not there were any controlled substances in the van, and the driver was denying it, and the officer said, "Well, I'm going to have to go and get a dog here to come and sniff this
It's illegal now.
the outside of your van."
That's illegal now. Supreme Court just passed it where that's illegal. So to know your rights from now on, if an officer ever tells you that they have to wait and get a dog to search your vehicle,
Right.
to sniff it, you now can refuse. No, sorry, I don't have to wait.
Is this in New Jersey or
This is throughout America.
throughout America?
They
Boy,
just passed
yeah.
that in the Supreme Court.
No, I hadn't heard that. But at any rate, obviously this happened either before that
course.
Supreme Court ruling took effect, or people weren't aware of it, like myself. I didn't know that. I thought if a policeman says you have to wait here while I get a dog to sniff your vehicle, you have to wait there.
I had
mean,
to.
you try to get away,
I
see,
had to.
see what happens. Anyway. So he went back to his police car to call in the dog, and of course all of this is being recorded on the policeman's camera. And what happens is the guy in the van opened his window and let two balloons go out, two helium balloons go out, and he had his marijuana stash attached to the helium balloons, and that was it. He got rid of his contraband, which was very, very clever.
There's some
and
contraband.
then the policeman saw the balloons floating away. He jumps out of his police car
I saw
and he
that.
shoots at the balloons. He shoots his pistol at the balloons. Now tell me where the common sense in that is. Tell me if that makes sense. This
Well,
drug
come
war.
on. That made a lot of sense.
You will risk somebody's life shooting at a balloon. In order to capture a small amount of
They got the goods.
contraband
They got
substance.
the goods, Ken.
That's great.
Mission accomplished.
That was awesome.
Shut up, sit down. That's a crazy video. The guy did boom, 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 boom.
Nice.
Talking about balloons. I mean, we all know what we think was in the balloons, but still, come on.
Wayne, do you know you can refuse a urine test, that they have to get a warrant for a urine test in New Jersey? You don't have to take a urine test when a cop says you take one. I didn't know that, and I got a DUI for marijuana by taking that urine test.
Sucker.
That was dumb. I was
Know the
dumb.
law.
I didn't know the law. I was ignorant, and it's no excuse.
Wow. Deja vu.
Well, they can get a court order, though.
Yes.
You know, so, I
Court
mean,
order.
you can refuse it, but you really, it only refuses it temporarily. They can hold you down and draw blood from you, too, Lefty, you know, so.
I still can't believe
That's
that.
scary.
You know, it
Instead of giving a little
while you have the
girl-
right to refuse, it only goes so far. So we're just talking about some of the lack of common sense in the war on drugs that lead to, you know, very, very dangerous situations. Situations where
I don't think we should call it the war on drugs.
Well,
I think we
that's
should
what
call it
it
the
is.
war on medical marijuana here in New Jersey.
Well, 50% of the war on drugs is a war on marijuana. So
I don't
this
want to
is-
sit down.
So this is one of the things that we're trying to bring attention to. That this war on drugs is causing a lot more harm than it helps. It's really devastating inner city communities. You know, I live here in Trenton, and you know, I certainly see the harms that that are brought about by the increased prosecution of the war on drugs. You know, I graduated from Trenton High in 1966, so I've seen this city. I've been around this city for you know, all my life. I'm 66 years old now, and before this war on drugs really took off in the 70s, Trenton was a good city, you know. And now, boy, you look at it, and it just the war on drugs hurts the inner cities more than any other part of the state of New Jersey, and Trenton really shows the destructive power of the war on drugs. Yeah, and it mostly falls on minorities. You know, I worked in the prison system. I started in 1984. That was when the war on drugs was really taking off, and I retired in 2006. And I saw the inmate population explode from 9,000 inmates in 1984 to 27,000 inmates in 2006, and that. Oh, there's Greg Moore from.
It's big business.
Documentarian from
It's big
Princeton.
business, man.
Yeah.
That's why they have it.
So, and 86% of that 27,000 inmates were black and Hispanic.
You know, it's
87% of those inmates, black and Hispanic. I
for simple
you know, you
possession
talk
of
about,
marijuana, too.
Well, very many of them, over
You know,
50.
most of them.
The vast majority of them for possession of marijuana. And
that's
you know,
crazy.
And you know, marijuana. They say, well, there aren't really many people in the prison system who were there for marijuana offenses. Well, you know, I beg to differ. I worked in the prison system, and I see how marijuana is an entry drug. It's an entry drug into the criminal justice system. And once you get involved in the criminal justice system, Wayne, it's very difficult to get out of the criminal justice
You're
system.
telling me? Been there, done that.
Have you?
Oh, my God.
You
Before
know,
I got my card, please.
yeah,
I had to pay $4,000 just for a lawyer.
Uh-huh.
All right, and I had to pay the $1,000. It seems like that's all they care about in these little towns.
Yeah.
As long as they get that $1,000, it's the $9.95 drug fee tax thing. As long as they get that, they really don't care about taking your license or anything else away.
But you're lucky in some ways because you have a steady source of employment. You have a family business that you work
I'm
at
very
with.
lucky.
Yeah.
But still,
I mean, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people, you know, when you get a record, you know, that they're barred from employment. It hurts them in getting a job. It
I'm
can
kind of
hurt.
stuck. You know, I thank God for my family, exactly. But I also went to school for computers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't get into Apple.
Right.
You know, as soon as they say, "Oh, drug arrest," oof, sorry, I can't get into Microsoft.
Right.
I can't get into to Dell, to anything.
Yeah.
You know?
So many people are barred. I mean, so many employment opportunities are just
gotta make
closed to anybody with a marijuana arrest. And it's just tragic. What it does is it creates second-class citizens, Wayne.
It does.
Not only you know
It limits them.
They can be barred from public housing. They can be barred from education. They can be barred from employment.
They could be barred from working at friggin' McDonald's.
Yeah, isn't
What a
that
joke.
something? Isn't that something?
It's a joke.
It's unbelievable. You know, the lack of common sense of this war on drugs. it just the penalties are just so way out of proportion to any harm that is created by the drug.
It's sad. It really is.
Yeah.
And even though the tide is turning, we still we have people with medical marijuana cards here in New Jersey still getting arrested.
Right.
Even going by the book.
Oh, really?
Oh, well,
Well, we need to hear about these. We need to hear about all the cases.
Unfortunately, they want to plea out.
Oh, really?
Well, they feel like, imagine you had a disease that you can die whenever, all right? And all of a sudden, they come, the police raid your house, even though you have your card and you have your legal, marijuana, and they raid it, and they make you a drug kingpin. Now you got to fight that. It's either you fight it or you just plead, and because they know they don't have a case, so they say, you know what, we'll give you half your money back that we took. We'll give you your car back, and
yeah, so
then we'll drop it.
So they hang the civil forfeiture over the head.
Of course.
Boy, I don't know. It seems to me that if they're completely in compliance with the Compassionate Use Medical Marijuana Act and the medicinal marijuana program,
I personally would fight it to the hills.
They would fight it as far as it goes and sue the arresting officers for false arrest. I mean, I would think that would be one of the ways to try to stop these outrages from happening. Here we're talking about you know how sick you have to be to qualify for marijuana therapy in New Jersey.
Please, I know somebody who was given, he's got cancer. He was given a year to live. He was denied the New Jersey medical marijuana program.
Wow.
Because the diagnosis wasn't 6 months and under.
No,
Are you kidding me?
It's a year to live. I mean, that's what the law says. The law says.
Oh, it's a year.
It is.
I'm sorry, he was a year and a half.
Oh, a year and a half. Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Because the doctor didn't. He didn't want. At first, the doctor didn't want to tell him, like, I don't want to give you a date death.
Yeah, right.
And I know that's what you're looking for.
Right. Doctors are very reluctant to say, you have a year to live.
He told him about a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I messed the story up.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, because it's only a year. So even if you have cancer, terminal cancer, if the doctor doesn't give you under a year,
right,
you can't get something that might help you.
Yeah, that's really, really terrible.
And Lefty, what does a Free Air Act mean?
That's the blue signs that you see all over the place.
That I see over here. What does that mean?
Can't smoke weed here.
Why not?
Because it might bother other people.
Is there a certain footage?
25 feet?
Yeah, we're 25 feet from the door.
Where is the sign?
No smoking.
Oh, no smoking. Yeah.
25 feet away.
Yeah, so you have to go across the street if you're going to use your medical marijuana.
The police put cones up earlier this year to show us where to go. They have a sense of humor, because all last year we had cones up for them, for Governor Christie.
Let's see if they have a real sense of humor.
So this year the police put cones up for us to show us where we could smoke our cannabis. It's pretty funny. State police are great.
Well, they've certainly been cooperative in giving us
what are you
permits
doing?
here. And
what are you doing?
It's not lit. It's not lit. I'm following the Compassionate Use of Medical Marijuana Act.
Just asking what you're doing.
Otherwise known as Kuma.
You can put a marijuana joint in your mouth, but you just can't light it.
Right.
So
it feels.
You can eat some marijuana or cannabis.
Oh yeah.
You can eat some cannabis cookies.
I should have brought them. Why didn't you tell me this earlier?
That you can do. You cannot smoke it.
But I can't smoke.
You can't smoke your cannabis here. You can't decarboxylate your cannabis in this area.
So I can't smoke my cannabis here. And little Jenny and all the Canada kids can't use their cannabis oil at school.
Jenny has to suffer. Jenny has to wait. She has to wait for somebody to make a decision if they should save her life or not. Really? Really?
Yeah.
They're waiting right now to find out how much she should suffer. How much should this girl suffer, huh?
And how much should she risk her life, Lefty? God. To me, it's an outrageous decision. Why would you not err on the side of caution? Why would you not err on the side of trying to do what's right, protecting the health and safety of this child under your care when she's in school? Yeah. And you know that her doctor recommends marijuana to stop her seizures, and you know that the marijuana is helping with the seizures, and you won't let her use it in school. That's wrong, Lefty. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about smoking marijuana at school. We're talking about using it in an oil, in an unobtrusive way. Only the nurse and the patient and the doctor and the parents really know what's going on, what medicine this girl is taking, and they could sneak it into her. But the barbers aren't that kind of people. The barbers insist that no, we're law-abiding people. We want to do what's right. We don't want to sneak it into her food, and we want to be upfront about what her medical condition is. That's why they're taking this case to court. And they're fighting today in the Office of Administrative Law on Quaker Bridge Plaza, and we certainly hope to get a ruling on this hearing very soon.
Yes, we do.
As we wait.
Yes, we do. And as far as that goes, the parents, Laura and Roger, only want to follow the Compassionate Use of Medical Marijuana Act. They only want to follow what the New Jersey Attorney General is telling them to do.
Exactly.
And that is simply giving their child medicinal marijuana in oil form at school. So it's not like they're only trying to do what the Attorney General of this state is telling them to do.
Right.
It's amazing.
You know what's amazing?
They have to go through the courts for the court to figure out, oh, you know what? The Attorney General, our top lawyer, wants them to do it like this. Well, maybe we should listen to him.
Yeah. Why not?
It's also amazing that the school nurse wouldn't give it, and say that no, this is my patient, and I'm going to err on the side of caution here. She certainly has the backing of the New Jersey State Nurses Association, which endorsed medical marijuana.
What's her name?
2002. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's get her name. Let's put her name out there.
We certainly and
what
medical
happened to
marijuana
confidentiality?
and medical marijuana has the backing of the American Nurses Association too, which represents over 3 million nurses in the United States. So the nurse would certainly be on strong grounds. But the problem is, I don't think it's right to call her out, Lefty, because if she did it and she disobeyed her immediate superiors, they would just fire her. They'd get another nurse. Another nurse who's going to follow the rules as the school board and the school dictate those rules to her. So it's not she can't make this decision really in a vacuum.
I bet there was Nazis that did that too.
Well,
Just saying.
well,
I'm not trying to compare the nurse to a Nazi. I would never do that. I would never compare this nurse to Nazis. That's horrible. So we're not doing that here today, Ken.
you
Sorry.
mean you're only following the rules?
We're following the
But
rules.
I'm saying that they would just get rid of this employee and go for and hire another school
Like
nurse.
Al Qaeda does.
Yeah.
That's what the nurse is. I can compare the nurse to Al Qaeda because that's what Al Qaeda does. When you get rid of one Al Qaeda guy, another one comes. So you get a nurse that's a prohibitionist nurse that doesn't care about children. You get rid of that nurse, and you get another nurse who likes children, who wants to be compassionate. And if that nurse screws up and doesn't care about kids, you get another one, just like Al Qaeda. These nurses are like Al Qaeda. Not all of them can, of course.
Yeah.
But these uncompassionate nurses, they're like Al Qaeda. ISIS. How about ISIS? Let's compare them to ISIS.
Well,
let's be real here.
well.
They're killing people. Jenny could die because of this nurse. This nurse could kill Jenny with her decision that she made.
Well,
Right or wrong?
technically, if Jenny was at school, even though they kicked her out, yes, because this nurse would not.
She would certainly
Give her the
share
medicine.
in the liability, I think, if there was harm to come to this. This
All it would
child
take would be a seizure.
as,
Yeah, or
you know.
Tuffy. Tuffy's
And
in
you
the same
being a
school.
nurse, all it takes is one seizure
That's it.
that's all it takes.
Yep,
You'd be walking up the stairs, boom.
One seizure can be fatal. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in my
Let me
career.
ask you a question. You can use their own words against them because they're saying they're looking out for all the children by not doing this. They're looking out for the welfare. So how many children do they have to have where they look out for the medical marijuana? Like half of them? Do we have to have half of the children medical marijuana patients for them to be looked out for? What's the number they're looking for? It's obvious not 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4, 5, 6.
Well, that was.
Yeah, that would.
Roger kind of hinted to us today.
What's that?
We know that there's Tuffy.
Yes.
Tuffy goes to the same school,
Tuffy goes to the same school.
but there's a third can of kid there.
Yes.
He doesn't want to come out of the closet yet.
There's another.
But if that class action lawsuit phrase gets brought up, then that third can of kid wants to come out of the closet
Oh yeah.
because that would make 3 can of kids in that one school.
How about that?
And we're not talking a regular school.
Yeah,
we're talking
no,
a school with
it's a special needs school. You know, they all have the IRP, is it, the individual IEP, individual educational plan. So, which is a federal requirement, I understand, for special needs children.
So I don't.
And, you know, these are very, very difficult kids to manage. Not only do they have physical problems, but they also have behavior problems. And that's the other thing, that marijuana really helps with behavior problems. It just really tends to calm these kids down quite a
Nah,
bit.
forget
You
that.
know,
Give
and
them
it makes them a
give
lot.
that rectal
It
Valium.
makes them a lot more amenable
imagine
to
that?
Give him a cricket. Give him a rectal cricket.
education.
Get Chuck over here. Hey, is Chuck? Chuck is coming today.
He better be here.
Is Chuck coming today?
He's supposed to.
Speaking of suppositories, Chuck Kwiatkowski, one of my favorite activists, has been experimenting with decarboxylated cannabis crickets, self-guiding for rectal insertion. So let's talk to him later, hopefully, on the show. That'll be fun.
I can't believe that.
That's
I
great.
still can't. Instead of giving this little girl
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
medical oil,
I don't
miracle
get it.
oil.
I don't get it.
Let's not call it marijuana. We'll call it miracle oil. Instead of giving this kid miracle oil, they'd rather give her a anal Valium or rectal Valium.
You know, that's only part of it. You know, rectal Valium. You know, I mean, I'm sorry I even brought it up. It seems to
No.
really make such a fascination with you. But let's talk about brain surgery. You know, how about brain surgery? You know, people would rather do brain surgery on their children. You know, when they in an effort to control
pretty
their
funny, huh?
seizures. You
Yes,
know?
it is.
No.
You're right.
I mean, you talk about the dangers associated with brain surgery, you know, and yet
It's
the
sad.
American Epilepsy Foundation says, oh no, you know, we don't recommend marijuana, you know, until all other things have been tried, you know, all other anticonvulsant medications, all other brain surgery. We would rather do brain surgery first to control epileptic seizures, you know, rather than have a trial of medical marijuana.
That's sick. That's sick.
It is sick.
And it's money. I think it's all about money. They can
No,
make
the-
a lot of money.
Well,
The sad part is-
it's about bias. It's really about
And
bias.
bias.
You know, bias towards that there is a harm, that there are great harms associated with marijuana, and you know, all the science. You know, for decades, the science has been biased towards finding harms associated with marijuana here in the United
Hey,
States.
every time that you guys say marijuana, I'm going to go, cannabis. Let's start doing that. Let's start using the word cannabis, because marijuana, as we always say, we know marijuana is a racist term. If you Google marijuana, the reason why we have that word, it's racism. So let's start using cannabis, and I'm guilty too. So I'm
It
gonna.
doesn't matter which word you use,
No.
bro.
No, it does matter.
does.
Words matter quite a bit.
Yeah, I've
but you
learned
know,
that.
our organization, the
More
Coalition for
than
Medical
words.
Marijuana in New Jersey, we have that in our
Hey,
organization.
hey.
You know, we struggled
MJ.
with this issue
MJ.
back in 2003.
Let's have a board meeting and talk about
MMJ.
this.
Well,
Make me and Wayne board members, and we'll fix all the words and all the what's that? What is that?
note to self: keep Lefty and Wayne off the board of CMMNJ, because we'll have to redo our logo. We'll have to do our T-shirts all over.
The Coalition for Medical Cannabis, New Jersey. I like that. CMM. Wait, C.
Well,
No,
you know,
just take the.
I'm confused.
Just take the
CCM.
acronym
CMMNJ.
CMMNJ.
now,
MM.
you know,
MM.
here, let me explain our thinking, though.
Go ahead.
Our thinking behind using the word marijuana, especially in 2003, was everybody knows what marijuana is, or they think they do. I mean, people did not know what cannabis was, and we would have to explain what we were about, and we didn't want to have to explain. We wanted it to be immediately apparent what we were about. That's why we had the
Racist.
symbol of the marijuana leaf on our
I like it.
logo.
But you can surprise people and say, I got this miracle drug that'll stop seizures. It's
I
called
don't
cannabis.
know. If
Yeah.
you look at the
Yeah.
logo, it
No,
looks similar to the Confederate flag.
It's not.
Oh. Jeez, Wayne.
Okay, maybe not.
No, Ken, I'm just busting
Maybe
because
not.
our program is called the Medical Marijuana Program. So,
Yeah,
You
the
know.
medicinal marijuana program, right?
so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
And the other thing is, you know, the other part is that, you know, we should reclaim this word. You know, I mean, why should we let this, you know, continue to be considered a racist word? You know, maybe that was its origin, but it's a word in common use in America, and you know, back in the day, the use of the word marijuana would just make people giggle. You know, they think, oh, or they have to say it really quiet, like marijuana. I got some marijuana. And so we wanted to reclaim that word. I took it as a personal mission to use marijuana again and again and again in a context of a healing context, and to make people stop giggling about it, because it's not a joke. It's not a joke.
It's not.
You know, marijuana is not a joke. It helps people. It helps a great many people.
Yeah, it does.
Who have serious medical conditions, and it results and the laws against marijuana do far more harm than good.
They're a joke. Those laws are a joke.
And far more harm than the substance itself does. So you know, we considered changing, using a different word than marijuana, but the fact is that for those reasons we decided to use and try to reclaim the word marijuana from its racist origins.
How about the Coalition for Medical Blunts?
No, because that has tobacco.
Okay. How about the Coalition for Medical Blaze Out?
As long as it doesn't say dope. I hate when they refer to
no, we can't.
cannabis
No, I don't
as
like that.
dope. I hate that.
Coalition for Medical Weed. No, that's no good.
Medical MM.
Coalition for Medical
CMMNJ. Don't even say the word. Just CMMNJ.
Coalition for Medical Reefers.
No. CMMNJ.org.
The Coalition for Medical Muggle.
CMMNJ.org.
Medical Muggle.
CMMNJ.org, yes.
Thank you.
.org.
Thank you.
Don't forget the .org, people.
And you can go there and give us your email address, and we'll send you monthly updates about what's going on. We have a blog section that we've been using for a number of years. There are so many blogs there.
Really? I didn't even know that.
No.
I got to get my stuff up there.
So CMMNJ.org. Get the name right.
Send me something if you want to.
I got
want
a
it
lot.
blogged.
I write for magazines, you know.
No.
Yeah,
No.
he does. What's you have an article coming out in Relief? Or
Relief,
yes.
Greenleaf,
Nice.
Freedom Leaf.
Nice.
A lot of
Other
leaves.
supporters everywhere today.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Thank you, sir. And you know, you can buy our T-shirts online too. You know, you just go to our PayPal account, send me $15, a check for $15 to the address on the website, and let me know what size you want, and I'll send you a T-shirt, CMMNJ T-shirt.
Personally,
yes. Put it in the mail.
your return address will be on there.
And we will.
6XL?
We can also have
6XL.
I know it might be $30.
$15 for the T-shirt.
How much is his?
$30 for
How
6XL.
How much is his cost? 20? 30?
They're more for bigger people.
You know,
I normally pay around $25.
There's no number he can give you right now.
6XL, you got to ask him.
Special order.
Oh, you have 6XL? We have
That's me,
3.
baby.
We have 3XL. We have 3XL, 2XL, XL,
So I got to buy 2
large,
shirts? Is that what you're
medium,
telling me?
There you
and
go.
small T-shirts.
I got to buy 2 shirts.
So welcome to the Fully Baked Radio show brought to you by SativaCross.com, Sativa Cross Podcast.
Sponsored by CMMNJ.org.
And Medical Freedom. Medical-freedom.com. Go to medical-freedom.com. Get your flag. Get your State of Compassion flag.
Yes,
And
you get them too.
Would you say get your joints?
Why
Yes. Yes, another supporter. Another blunts.
No, they're joints.
We support it
They're
all.
joints.
Thank you. Your son calls them blunts?
Thank you, sir. Oh, they still go in there, trust me.
Hey,
Quick check. She's from North
What
Jersey.
are you doing? See, look what we have to deal with. He's putting stuff right in front of the podcast, right in front of the camera, right in front of my face. Here we
No,
go.
that's
Here we
William.
go again with William.
That's
Crap.
William.
Look at this, Ken. Look what I
Yeah.
got to deal with.
I
Yeah.
can't give him
Look
crap
at-
no more.
Look
Health
at him.
and fitness.
I get health. I get freaking.
The current issue of the U.S. one is about health and fitness in 2015.
Who cares?
I certainly hope there's something about medical marijuana.
Why'd
in
you
there.
hand this to me?
Of course not.
U.S. one has some.
Give me that.
Has been receptive to medical marijuana. They've had a couple of articles through the years that were written by me, letters to the editor, and a larger article about medical marijuana. And even when the bill was up for discussion in the 5 years that the bill was in the legislature before it passed in 2010. So U.S. One has been a good little publication and supportive of our efforts in some small way.
See, look. Now he's pointing off. Now he's over there pointing to stuff.
Medical-freedom.com. Get your flags.
Get your flags.
Right.
It's flags with an L.
Get your State of Compassion flags. Blah.
William Haney.
My name's William Haney. I like to annoy
Wanna give
everybody
up the
when they're on the
intros,
air. Yeah.
You're going? Is that
Buy
what
my
you're saying?
flag. Buy a flag.
All right, Rain Man.
Rain
Rain
Man.
Man.
Put him
don't-
on mic. Put him on the
Rain
mic.
Man, please. Go
Give him a
sit
mic.
down.
Go get a
somewhere.
microphone. Get a microphone, Bill.
Exactly.
Come on.
Rain Man.
Please, please.
You keep saying the same.
I can't.
We
I
know
can't
you
deal
want to
with
go to
you today.
Canatopia.
I can't deal with this.
We
today.
understand. $2,400. That's what it costs. Go ask these people. They'll help you. Ask them.
Either sit down and grab a mic or go away. Sit down. Grab a mic. Come on. We can't hear you.
So can we talk about something else?
I want to talk about what we did today. We went to go see Jenny Barber and her parents,
What?
and
I smoked out in front of a
we
court.
smoked it out. We smoked it out, and it wasn't just for Jenny. It was for all the kids that are suffering. Because yesterday, I saw a little girl who had 700 seizures.
Laura Lee?
Lorelei.
Lorelei.
I think her name's Lorelei. I'm such a horrible Lorelei. I've been calling her Laura Lee, and it's Lorelei. It's
Well, they're
just
from
like-
Pennsylvania, so that would make sense.
Well, listen to this.
Lorelei.
I was in the hospital watching my grandmother.
Legalize for Lorelei.
Shut up for a minute.
Well, you gotta just say their name. Legalize.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Legalize for Lorelei.
Just shut up.
Go there on Facebook.
Listen to me. I got a story.
Go for it.
Go.
I was in the hospital. I had to visit my grandmother. She was dying in the hospital. So I go to the hospital and I open the elevator, and who pops out but Dana, Lorelei's mother. She's from Pennsylvania.
Oh,
I haven't
I know
seen
Dana.
her in a year. I haven't seen her. Last time I saw her was at the Face of Cannabis photo shoot, video
I
shoot.
never met her.
And here she is in the hospital out of the blue. And I'm like, and what's funny about it is, as we were going there, I'm following my wife.
Did you get her in the elevator?
Yes.
Is that what you saw? Wow, what a small world.
I follow my wife to
God
the
said,
hospital.
this is like God.
That's what I'm
son.
saying.
This
I don't.
is divine
I don't believe in
intervention.
coincidence, man. This is a reason. My grandmother died in the hospital yesterday, and I met
Oh,
this
your
poor
grandmother
girl.
died?
Sorry to
and I
hear
met,
that, buddy.
but I met this poor girl, and there was a meaning why I met this girl. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry about your
yeah,
grandmother.
Thanks. But there's a meaning in this, because why? All the people in the world. She's from Pennsylvania. I haven't seen them in a
Yeah.
year. And as we're driving there, my wife made a left and a right. She went the wrong way, and I'm like, my grandma's dying. Hurry up! Why are you going this way? We went the long way. It took like 10 minutes longer. We get there, and I'm like, should I say something to my wife? And I'm just forget it, whatever. It was because of that detour that me and Dana ran into each other. So it's fate, man. It's fate.
is.
So I saw Lorelei. She had 700 seizures. I went, and the poor little girl was laughing and having a good time with me. We had a blast. I mean, she's a
That's
great little
awesome.
girl.
So what hospital was it?
St. Barnabas. This is where all the kids go.
Yeah.
Peter goes there.
That's where all the rich people go.
Sabina died there.
The rich New Jerseyans.
Sabina Rose died there. And it wasn't the hospital's fault that Sabina Rose died. She didn't have her medicine. She didn't have her medical marijuana.
Which would have prevented the seizure that took her life.
Right. She had to wait 4 months for her medical marijuana card, and she died waiting.
Why was she in St. Barnabas? That's in North Jersey, right?
Yeah, it's the
That's
best
where we
hospital.
are.
It's,
Oh,
where-
yeah.
it's the best hospital around
Plus,
for
yeah,
seizures.
yeah. Oh,
you
is
know?
it?
Yeah.
You got from where they live, and that's the, what are they, Joannas? I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah, the
last name.
Joannas, yeah.
From where they live, you have either Dover General, which is terrible, or Morristown, which,
Yeah.
But for the kids, nothing's better than St. Barnabas.
Yeah.
It's a half hour away, but it's the place to go. It's right. It's like right in your backyard.
It's right around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to Dana when she was a very early activist for getting the medical marijuana bill passed in Pennsylvania, or at least the progress that it's making in Pennsylvania. So, we still don't have a medical marijuana bill passed in Pennsylvania, despite our efforts, and despite the efforts of Dana, who was one of the early advocates for medical marijuana in Pennsylvania. So, how's she doing? You spoke to her?
She's doing great. They've been there for like 8 or 9 days in this hospital, and
Why are they there? Are they?
she's just having a hard time. She's the poor girl cannot get her medicine. She's in Pennsylvania, so she's
Yeah.
not illegal.
Yeah,
She
so-
can't get her medical marijuana.
So
and-
she's still having the seizures.
She had 700 seizures
Oh,
when I
my.
saw her. 700.
Oh,
So there's-
I thought that they were. I thought you were talking in the past that they had her seizures under control, but
No,
that's not the case.
not at
Okay.
all.
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
Some of them are small. Some of them are where she just
Yeah.
like fades out, and then some of them are grand mal, and it's terrible. These
Yeah.
kids are suffering like this. Give these kids what they need.
Well,
I don't get it.
Absolutely.
Why are you letting these kids suffer? I mean,
Common sense.
cavemen protected their children. Freaking throwbacks protected their children. How do we come so far where we're letting our children die like
Hey,
this?
Bill Caruso.
Really?
How are you, Bill?
Hey, Bill. What's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
Nice to
How
see
are
you.
you?
Nice to see you.
Hey.
Have
Nice
a
to
little
meet you, sir.
Hey, buddy.
podcast going
Good
on.
to see you. Yes.
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
Budget Day.
Special day in New Jersey. It's budget day.
Budget Day.
Happy Budget Day.
What happens on Budget Day? Give him a mic. What happens on Budget Day?
A whole lot of fun in Trenton. And by the way, it's never the budget. It's always the other bills that accompany the budget that you need to pay attention to. But you got both houses of the legislature in today, and we're all screaming to the June 30th deadline. It's an important day. It's an important day if you're in tune with what goes on in state government, and this is the day where we fund everything for the next year. So there's a lot of priorities that either did get funded or didn't get funded. Money, unfortunately and fortunately, makes the world go round in this business. So got to make sure you're paying your bills. So that's the day, and Democrats will offer a alternative to what the governor has proposed. The governor has the line item veto pen, and will probably line out a majority of what was added in. There'll probably be some compromises over what stays, and the budget will be signed into law next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about everything stops, for the budget. I mean, this is a real priority here in the state of New Jersey. The governor is, it's a law that he balances the budget, right?
It is.
So,
It's constitutional.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it certainly, has a great deal of priority here, and actually, just about the pension. I mean, the pension's going to be a big thing, I guess. Pension reform. The pension is a big hole in the budget, right?
And it will get worse. And you said the magic words in reform, although we've been through one level of reform already, and I think some folks are fatigued on the reform side, but something's got to give on that. Jump back to one other thing I just caught you guys talking about, and I want to give props to where props are due. On the medicinal oil issue that is going on today, two good things are going on right now. Number one, and I give credit right here, and a lot of the advocates and moms and dads have been fighting on this battle. We're seeing a sea change happen overnight. Delaware just adopted a medicinal oil initiative. We have a bill up today, and I'll give a shout out to somebody that I don't necessarily see as a common ally on the cause, but Majority Leader Lou Greenwald, who I think is coming around on this issue to take up this initiative, and I literally give credit to a lot of the folks that have been advocating this and working with him to help come along. I think we've got to call out folks that aren't there, but you got to support those that do get there and come around. And I give Majority Leader Greenwald a lot of credit. His co-sponsor Pam Lampett, I think they were touched personally by some issues in their district. But that is a direct result of this effort here, the lobbying effort that you guys continue to do here, and bringing education to this important cause. And hopefully we see some change here today in the building. I don't know what the governor does with that bill because it would potentially expand, but it's obviously needed and obviously for a good cause, and we see other states adjacent to us already adopting it. That's good news.
Does it go right to the governor?
The bill will pass both houses, and then it goes to the governor. The governor has really three options. He can sign it, he can veto it outright, and he could conditionally veto it, meaning that he would change it and send it back with some changes in it that the legislature could either adopt or then just ignore.
I'd really love to see you guys put that bill right in front of him, because how could he not sign that?
I think it's going. I mean, my understanding is I don't know where it is in the Senate. It may have passed. I haven't paid attention. I just saw that it was up in the Assembly. But my understanding is that there is a growing desire to move that bill to the governor's desk. Again, I haven't looked at what the governor said about it or hasn't said about it.
Let's hold his feet to the fire.
Yeah.
That's all we could do.
Yeah.
You guys are doing that every day. I give you a lot of credit. And I know you're here.
Well,
even when you're not here.
once a
you're-
week, yeah.
Oh, even when you're not here, you're
Yeah,
doing
you-
it. I know
Oh,
that.
by the way, you're on the air.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
We're supposed to tell you that before, and don't say anything bad.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. No. My mom's always taught me that. I got to watch my language.
No, you're good. You're good. We don't have to tell you.
We're without power in my town right now. I'm saving all my cursing for the utility company. So,
Yeah.
What town?
Berlin Borough in South Jersey.
How long have you had no power?
Since the storm Tuesday night. I mean, listen, life could be
Wow.
worse. I have 3 kids at home, and thankfully none of them are suffering from any major illnesses. So we're without electricity. We'll get by.
I saw a girl with 700 seizures yesterday.
Yeah, it's horrible.
700 seizures. So yeah, your problems are a little lower than that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I also work on my professional side with a lot of folks in the healthcare community, and there's a lot of excitement now, and I think the healthcare community, although nervous about where things are with federal law, right? We always have to worry about where the feds are on this stuff. But the healthcare community is coming around on this issue too, in terms of a treatment methodology, and also understanding that there are some serious illnesses now that are responding very quickly to this. And I think that's a benefit too. Is I did not see that in the more of the mainstream world, and I'm starting to see that more and more now. As this science, and it is science, and this medicine is being accepted in the healthcare community. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And we're glad to see it that way. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Well, good luck, guys.
Yeah, you
I'm
too.
gonna go
Good
get
luck.
in there and
Yeah.
mix it up in Trenton.
Go get 'em.
I'll see you guys.
And we're also advocating for the PTSD bill, you know, to
Absolutely.
add PTSD as a qualifying condition. That's one of the main
S2890.
reasons we've been
Yeah,
out
is that
there.
coming up? Anything with that or not?
I don't know the answer to that. I know that it passed out of the Assembly, and I think there was some ongoing discussions going on in the Senate
Right,
now at this
right.
point, because the bill's over, I think, in the Senate. So
Yeah.
Senate, I think, is going to be in over the summer, though. I think the Assembly, this may be their last session before they head off into elections in the fall. They're all on the ballot, but and I don't necessarily know if they put
Yeah.
out a calendar, but I think the Senate will be in over the summer, so hopefully there'll be some
good.
action on
Oh,
that.
that's
Okay.
good to know. Thanks so much for
Hey,
stopping
it was
by,
good
Bill.
seeing you
Thank
guys.
you.
Keep up the good work, all right?
Yeah,
Thank
bet.
you. You too.
Take care.
Sir.
Awesome.
Former executive director of the Assembly, Bill Caruso.
Sweet. Wow.
Awesome. That's why we do this, because we never know who we're going to meet on the street. We meet the best people, the coolest people. Man, awesome. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah. So he talked about the science coming around. You know, there was just the other day there was an article from the Associated Press that the headline said, "Scant evidence that medical pot helps many illnesses."
Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah, well, it referred to a study done that was published the other day in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Now, the American Medical Association has been not very supportive of medical marijuana. You know, unfortunately, you know they
You know what he's talking
recommended-
about right now?
What?
The lady that we were talking to, her boyfriend did that thing for the AMA
Yes.
that she's going to email us.
Yes.
That's what he's talking about.
Now, you want to tell me what I'm
What?
talking about?
He's talking about the the new finding that
Yes.
the American Medical Association came out with
Yes.
about how they're really saying that they're not for medicinal marijuana,
Right.
but they do see very little.
Well,
That it
you
can
know,
help.
they're talking about evidence, Wayne. You know, evidence. You know, so let's what they said that there is some strongest evidence is for chronic pain and for muscle stiffness and multiple sclerosis.
We didn't listen to that.
you
There
know,
you go.
Well, now here. I mean,
There's
that seems-
anecdotal. Remember,
it's-
she gave us a whole.
It
it's
certainly
anecdotal.
seems to be a crack in the wall there. You know, where
Yes.
they're acknowledging the medical benefits of,
Can't deny it. You
of
can't deny it
marijuana.
no more.
They're acknowledging that there is adequate evidence for the medical benefits of marijuana.
Finally, the American Medical
You know,
Association.
right? But you know,
I didn't
what,
think
what-
that would happen.
well, you know, the American Medical Association in 5 years ago, in 2010, called for the rescheduling of marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug,
Cannabis.
so that so that research could be done on it more easily. But what have they done in 5 years? You know, have they followed up? Have they lobbied? Have they used the power of their
Probably
pulpit
pussyfooting around.
to
They're not doing nothing.
insist that marijuana actually be rescheduled?
Cannabis.
No, marijuana has not been
Cannabis.
rescheduled. It was scheduled as a Schedule 1 drug in 1970, and it continues to be a Schedule 1 drug in today in 2015, despite the fact that it's entirely inappropriate to call marijuana a Schedule 1 drug.
Cannabis.
But they're learning, though, Ken. I think they're slowly but surely learning.
Schedule 1 drugs have no accepted medical uses in the United States, and here 23 states have accepted medical uses for cannabis.
Ah, you got me.
So, you know, anyway, this study that came out, you know, said that, well, you know, we don't, the analysis evaluated 79 studies involving more than 6,000 patients, and it was published in Tuesday's Journal of the American Medical Association. And so they said that medical marijuana has not been proven. Well, this is what the article said, Lefty. Medical marijuana has not been proven to work for many illnesses that state laws have approved it for. So now think about that. What they're saying is that they have not gotten the type of proofs that they would accept as valid. And what they're looking for are basically large-scale clinical trials of medical marijuana. Now, large-scale clinical trials of medical marijuana cannot get done in the United States. There is a bias towards harm. And the harm, they assume that there are things that are wrong with marijuana, and when we study marijuana, they only look for harms that are associated with marijuana. That's the mission of the National Institute of Drug Abuse, NIDA. to look for harms associated with marijuana, not to look for benefits. So
serious.
you cannot get the studies done that would prove, that would establish the proof and the evidence for the benefits of medical marijuana. You know,
The tide is turning, though. It's slowly going to happen.
you know that the
It will slowly
DEA,
happen.
the DEA decide they're one of the decision makers in what medical and scientific studies of marijuana can get done. The Drug Enforcement Administration, federal police in America decide what medical and scientific studies can get done here in this country. You know, that's a disgraceful situation. It's an insult to science. It's an insult to
Oh, you want insults? I'll give you insults.
I'm insulted.
We have the Department of Health is run by a former state cop.
Yeah. How's that working out?
What
How's
is-
that
what is-
working out?
What is the police-
Wait.
what is it-
Not the Department of Health, the medicinal marijuana program.
Yeah.
The Department of Health is not run by a state
Oh, who?
cop.
John, okay.
John O'Brien was
John
the-
O'Brien.
the head of
John O'Brien was the head of the medicinal marijuana program,
cannabis.
part of the Department of Health. Although Mary O'Dowd just tendered her resignation, I understand.
Really?
Yes.
But
That was in the news.
Yeah. But well,
That was yesterday or Tuesday.
I don't have
right?
anything against Mary O'Dowd.
No? We don't?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I'm sorry. I take that back.
She would just be replaced by another person if she did not do exactly what Governor Christie wanted her to do.
Like ISIS, just like Al Qaeda and ISIS.
Well, it's like the good Nazis, you know.
That's exactly it. So you do what we want. You make these kids suffer, or we'll fire you and we'll make somebody else make these kids suffer.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. It's ISIS. We have
Yeah.
ISIS in our own government.
Yeah,
You think I'm kidding? You think that's a joke? I'm not. I don't think that's a bad analogy.
The main defense at the Nuremberg trial, I was only following orders.
Right.
So, but you know, in a way, I understand that. I was a state employee for 22 years. If I didn't do what my boss told me to do, I would get fired. So,
But if the boss told you to do something bad, if the boss told you don't help this person, don't help this child, make this
Yeah,
child suffer,
yeah.
you would quit.
well, that
Or you'd
that-
help the kid.
You know that would be a real crisis.
You're
know,
a
that-
compassionate person. You would do the right thing.
You know, it depends on the circumstances, Lefty. You know, I mean, if my getting fired is not going to help at all, you know, I don't, you know, it's
Ken
hard.
would have
It's
been
hard
like
to
the
say. I
nurse
don't want to. I don't
at
want to say.
Lark.
You know, I don't.
Ken would
wanna
be like, sorry, I can't give that to you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you were the nurse at Lark, what would you do?
Well, I would argue that we should give that girl the medicine. You know, I would certainly bring it to my superiors.
I know you'd argue it. What would you do?
Well, if it was if the medicine was given to me, I would certainly try to find some way to give it to the child. Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I would. And I would say that, look, my Nurses Association supports this. The American Nurses Association supports this. 110,000 nurses in the state of New Jersey support medical marijuana.
Are you a real nurse?
Over 3 million nurses.
You're an RN?
Yes, I'm a registered nurse.
So you'd let them fire you? You'd get fired for helping
This is
Jenny.
a mumbo jumbo. This is the truth.
Well,
Because you would help her.
People listening out there.
Stop. You would give up your job to help Jenny.
well, I'd like to believe that I would. You know, it's
I
hard.
think you would.
It's
I don't think you
it's
would.
hard to say.
I think
I don't think
you
you
know.
guys
I mean,
do.
it's hard to say when I've walked off jobs for less reasons than that. Believe me.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's a good reason to quit. It's just a horrible
I
situation.
don't know. What if she's making like a 6-figure, you know?
Yeah.
Well, they're not. Trust me.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Oh man.
and the real argument is that it has
doing,
to be.
sir?
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
support. The real argument is that, you know, the school board has to come around. The school board has to make that decision, and the school board has to say that it's okay for the school to use medical marijuana. And let's not put it on the lower level employees in the school. You know, they're just doing their job as best they can, and you know,
Just
I mean,
following orders.
They have to. Well, you know,
Just doing my
There you
job.
go again. Just following orders.
Just doing my job.
I'm just doing my job, letting these kids
well,
suffer.
Let's be realistic. You know, they're being told, fine, you want to do that, you're gone, you're out of here, you're fired. You know,
Just
so-
like ISIS. I'm telling you, man, it's like ISIS.
Well, hold on. If you got fired, couldn't you like sue?
I would sue them.
Right?
Well, no, I mean, here you're violating the school policy. You know,
But you're
of
following
course,
state law.
I don't even know if the school really has a policy. That's the other question. You know, this is really up in the air. They said it was violating federal law. Why didn't they wait for the federal government to say it's violating federal
That's
law?
what I'm saying.
You know?
It's like
why didn't you wait for the federal government to say no, you can't give this medical marijuana to this girl who's having seizures, and have the federal government go on record as saying that you are breaking federal law because right now this entire program is breaking federal law and the federal government's not saying anything about it.
Right, exactly.
You know, the states have the right
and
to.
the state's taking that tax money.
The states have the right
blood money.
to define the practice of medicine within each state, and they should be able to give medical marijuana to this girl to save her life, quite frankly.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Well,
Just common sense.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna go medicate, and so okay. Thank you.
Medicate you.
And you Ken, are you good to host the show for a little while we go medicate?
Hi, my name is Ken Walski.
And I'm the director of CMMNJ.
I'm the director, that's it. I'm the director of CMMNJ.
Would the real Ken Wiskolski please stand
Doesn't
up?
sound like your microphone's on, Cindy.
It's probably best that it's not.
I'm going to turn
Yeah,
it
you
off
ain't
in a minute.
kidding.
No, I'm not.
You ain't kidding.
Where's the off button?
Positive.
Me and Lefty are going to go legally medicate
Yeah.
over here.
See you in a few.
Yo, if you see that lady,
Ken
could you
and
tell her I
Ken
said
is
hi?
going to take over here.
Hello?
I like
And
your
Bill is going to keep an eye on him.
I like
You
your
got
shirt,
Bill. No,
Cindy.
Bill's going to medicate too.
Tell her I said hi. She's back there doing something. I don't know.
I'll tell her you said hi.
Please.
I will.
All right, Mr. Walski. Do a good job.
So anyway, we were talking about this study that showed
to
scant
that's
evidence that
Spanish.
medical pot helps many illnesses, and
Yeah, well, I'm not. It's not lit.
the editorial suggests enthusiasm for medical marijuana has outpaced rigorous research and says widespread use should wait for better evidence. Well, you know, we think that's wrong. Widespread use should not wait for better evidence. The evidence has been stymied by the federal government. So it's ridiculous to wait for better evidence. You know how long this struggle's been going on. You know,
How long? Tell me.
I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, but researchers have been complaining since the 1960s that the federal government has been obstructing research into the benefits of medical marijuana. The 1960s, Lefty.
I wasn't around
Wayne.
here.
You know?
See, you're so old you forget my name. I love it. I'm sorry.
So you know, I mean, that's well documented. When the first petition for rescheduling marijuana was brought up,
Okay, so you seem to know everything.
in 1972.
When was it rescheduled? When was it even scheduled? Because I knew you had the Marijuana Tax Act.
Yeah, the Marijuana Tax Act was the first federal law that really prohibited the use of medical marijuana.
And then Tim Leary
in,
got a
in
little...
1937, right? And then Tim Leary's case in
He's like, hey, I'll pay the
1969.
friggin' tax.
Right. He was arrested coming back from Mexico because they found a joint in his daughter on his daughter, and he took the rap for his daughter's joint. And you know, the federal government went after Tim Leary because he was an outspoken advocate for the use of psychedelics. So they really wanted to punish this guy, and they did punish him. They punished him quite severely. But on that particular case, he won. He went to the Supreme Court of the United States, and he said, no, this 1937 Tax Act is double jeopardy, because not only do I pay a tax which is not available for me to pay, but even after I pay that tax, you can still arrest me for possession of marijuana. So that tax doesn't do me any good. And that was the case. And so the Supreme Court agreed with him, and they said, no, the Marijuana Tax Act is clearly a case of double jeopardy. It's unconstitutional, and it is no longer in effect. And this was in 1969. And, you know, in 1969, I was 21 years old, so I said, wow, this is great. You know, there's no federal law against marijuana. Well, it really didn't matter because 99% of all arrests happened under state and municipal laws. So whether there was a federal law against marijuana was really kind of irrelevant to people on the street who were using marijuana at the time. Well, and the federal government rushed through Congress in 1970 the Controlled Substances Act, and that placed marijuana in as a Schedule I drug. And Schedule I drugs have no accepted medical uses in the United States. They're unsafe for use even under medical supervision, and they have a high potential for abuse. Now, none of that's true. Wayne. None of that is true. Marijuana has accepted medical uses. 23 states in the United States accept marijuana as medicine for a number of different medical conditions. Scores of legitimate healthcare organizations like the American Nurses Association, the American College of Physicians, the American Academy of Family Physicians, the American Public Health Association, they all recognize marijuana as having medical benefits. There's several million patients in the United States who use medical marijuana legally under their state laws.
Now, meanwhile, this is without legal research even being allowed to be done.
Right, right.
Imagine if they could research it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And around 70% of the physicians in the United States, according to recent surveys, have said that marijuana should be used as a medicine under certain circumstances. So you have over 70% of the doctors. Now here you have scores of medical organizations, 23 states, a number of foreign countries.
23 states and growing.
And growing, yeah. And yet the federal government insists that there are no accepted medical uses for marijuana in the United States. You know, it's just absurd. They also said that there is a high potential for abuse of marijuana. Now wait a minute. Now think about that for a minute. 100 million Americans have used marijuana, and yet most of them quit. Most of them use it episodically and periodically, once in a while.
Anyone die from it?
And no one's ever died from it. Huh. So, you know, how do you abuse it? How do you abuse marijuana? That's a good question, Wayne. How do you abuse marijuana? What does it look like? You know, all right, typically what it means, typically the abuse of a substance, when you talk about the abuse of alcohol, it means that you continue to use alcohol even after it's proven to be destructive to your body, to your relationships, to your emotions. That's what it means to abuse marijuana.
You'll drink yourself stupid.
Right. That's what it means. That's what it means to abuse alcohol. But you know what the federal government means when they say it has a high potential for abuse? It means any use of marijuana is considered abuse by the federal government. That's how they justify it. They twist the English language to fit their definition. It's like Alice in Wonderland, really. You know, words mean what I want them to mean. They say even when a patient uses marijuana under a doctor's recommendation, the federal government still says he is abusing marijuana. That's what it means.
Got an outdated government.
And what's the last one? What's the last one? We talked about no accepted medical uses of marijuana, a high potential for abuse, unsafe for use even under medical supervision. Do you know what it means to be unsafe for use even under medical supervision? That means that it is forbidden. The federal government forbids the use of marijuana even in a hospital, in an intensive care unit where nurses are there 24 hours a day, where doctors are there supervising the use. They say that even that is too dangerous to use. It's unsafe for use, even under medical supervision. You know, that's just absurd. I worked in intensive care units in hospitals, and I know what a dangerous drug is. A dangerous drug is one that you have to monitor constantly or the patient's going to die.
A dangerous drug is morphine.
Right, morphine is a dangerous drug.
You know,
absolutely. You give a morphine drip, you better be making sure that you're giving the right amount of milligrams per kilogram of body weight at the right time.
Lefty's going to cry about his grandma. I'll tell you a story about mine.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
You know, like my poor grandma was stuck in the hospital for 6 years. And all they kept doing was feeding her morphine. Mm-hmm. And towards the end, all the nurses, all the doctors, they all pretty much said, hey, listen, this is what you want. You want your grandmother to go in a state where she's all morphined up and she doesn't feel anything and she could pass on to the next world. Mm-hmm. And marijuana's in that same schedule? That's bullshit. That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Well, it's
marijuana wouldn't kill nobody like that.
Actually, marijuana's in the same schedule as heroin. Marijuana's in the same schedule as heroin.
Is heroin, right?
Well, morphine is not. Morphine is less dangerous than marijuana, according to the federal government. Right. Morphine is less dangerous than marijuana. So, you know, methamphetamine is considered less dangerous than marijuana, according to the federal government.
It's crazy.
Every drug in the pharmacy is considered less dangerous than marijuana by the federal government. You know, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's completely irrational. The schedules were made by politicians. It is not based on science. It is not based on
marijuana was
medical treatment.
Illegalized because of science.
No.
They never said, you know what, marijuana is bad for you, your health. therefore no good. No, they said stupid stuff like, marijuana is going to make your white daughters have sex with black men.
Right.
That's how they illegalized it.
Right.
And to this day, they're still lying. It's like lie after lie after lie.
Yeah. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And I'll tell you, that certainly characterizes what the federal government has been doing with marijuana. It's just a tangled web that they cannot extricate themselves from, a tangled web of lies. It started in 1937, like you said, Wayne, when marijuana was demonized. They said it was associated with insanity, criminality, and death. And that you
Reefer madness.
Yeah, that's it.
We're still living that.
We are.
Almost 100 years later, we're still living reefer madness.
Yes. Yep.
It's disgusting.
Yep.
Everybody who knows, everybody who's ever seen that movie, Reefer Madness, they're like, that's crazy. Marijuana doesn't make you do that. That guy's not on marijuana. He's on something. No
Right,
shit, it's a
right.
movie. It's a movie.
Right.
It's not real. But yet that's the propaganda that our government went through because cannabis, marijuana, hemp, whatever you want to call it, competed with the people that made it illegal. DuPont, Hearst,
Yeah.
and the melons.
So where did we start this? We started this with talking about the first rescheduling hearing. So so marijuana was I was 22 years old in 1970. So I
wasn't around.
I
Sorry.
followed this very closely at the time, and I said, they said, well, we're going to put marijuana as a Schedule I drug, and people were saying, wait, it doesn't belong in the same class with heroin. This is ridiculous. And so they said, oh, well, we got to rush this legislation through, so we'll put this temporarily in Schedule I
Did they do it like they did it today?
until-
Like they do it nowadays? No, just pass the bill. We'll tell you what's in it later.
Yeah, it's
Is that how they did it pretty much?
No, pretty much. They said we'll study the issue, and we're going to report back to the Congress about whether or not this is an appropriate placement of marijuana in the Schedule I. So they did that, Wayne. They actually did. President Nixon appointed this commission.
What a bum.
The Schaefer Commission that studied whether or not marijuana was appropriately classified as a Schedule I drug. And they did a very good job. They studied it for 2 years, from 1970 to 72. They went all around the country. They went to different parts of the world. They really studied how marijuana was used in our culture and how it was used in
What was that?
foreign countries.
What was that called?
The Schaefer Commission.
The Schaefer
The
Commission.
Schaefer Commission. Raymond Schaefer was a very conservative governor of Pennsylvania, and he was like a friend of President Nixon, and he was appointed to be the head of this commission, and they were sure that and President Nixon was sure that Mr. Schaefer would bring back the kind of results that he was anticipating. But when the Schaefer Commission did their report, they said, oh no, that's marijuana. Marijuana it shouldn't be a Schedule I drug. It shouldn't be scheduled at all. It shouldn't be Schedule 2, 3, 4, or 5. It should be decriminalized for adult use in the United States. And of course, President Nixon just took the commission's report and tossed it in the garbage. So nothing
You give
came.
them the facts and they don't want them.
Yeah, nothing
You give
came
them
of
the
that.
facts and they just still don't want them.
Yeah, nothing came of the Schaefer Commission report that marijuana was inappropriately placed in as a Schedule I drug. So then
40 years later, going on 50 years later.
That's and then in 1972, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, they sued the federal government, and they said no, we should marijuana shouldn't be a Schedule I drug. It should just be a Schedule II drug so that doctors can prescribe it, because Schedule I drugs are not available to be prescribed by hey, Jerry. Jerry McGrath, come over here and sit down.
I'm waiting for my husband. What's up?
Oh, no, here. We're here. This is a podcast. We're podcasting, and we're here.
Sit down, have a
grab a
mic.
microphone, Jerry. I was just talking about you to somebody.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I hope it was good.
Yeah. No. Well, Jerry and her husband Don were some of the original founders, supporters of medical marijuana in the state of New Jersey. They were very instrumental in getting the bill passed because they told the story of the tragic story of the son Sean, basically, and that's what I was talking about, basically.
Well,
Jerry.
The bill was introduced in our backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a while ago.
Yeah. Was
Kuma?
The bill for medical marijuana was
Yeah.
first introduced in our backyard.
Kuma.
In
The
the
Compassionate
Compassionate
Use-
Use Medical Marijuana
Wow.
Act. Reed Gusiora, he was the lead assemblyman at the time. He announced in Jerry McGrath's backyard that he was going to introduce the Compassionate Use Medical Marijuana Act into the state legislature, and that was in 2003, I want to say.
2004. No, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had it- let's see. Oh, 2004. You're right. Yeah, because
when Sean died.
right. Yeah, yeah. Because
Sorry to
and then it was finally introduced in 2005, a little bit later, but and then it was in the legislature for 5 years, and it was passed in
Right.
2010.
Right.
Yeah. So I just sent your testimony on to somebody who was looking for some information about cancer and the use of marijuana for cancer patients.
okay.
So I had a copy of your testimony from 2000. I don't know, one of your testimonies anyway, yours
Right.
and Don's. So
Right.
anyway, you're still working. You know, you're
Still working. Yeah, I'm here for sensible
Well, hold it a little closer.
sensible gun laws. That there's a bill now
Mhm.
to be passed for domestic abusers
Mhm.
that after they're convicted of a violent domestic violence, that they automatically they can't buy weapons, but if they have weapons in the house, they can still keep them. So this bill would force them in a short period of time. Right now, I don't know, it's like 60 days or something that they have to hand them in, but this would shorten that time. So they would not be allowed to keep those guns in the house, which is only common sense. It's not taking guns away from anybody that's law-abiding. This is somebody that's been convicted of domestic violence.
Convicted of domestic
Right, I mean, they
violence.
can go from the courthouse and go home and get their gun and blow away their family, you know, which is crazy. But
So what did you have? You had a committee hearing today, or what was it?
there was a meeting, and they're actually voting on it today.
They're voting on it.
Yeah, they're voting on it today. So
Wow.
I'm hoping that they have bipartisan support, that it will be, it's common sense. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's nothing against lawful people having
Right.
guns, but about abusers that have guns. And
Yeah, I'm surprised the legislature is taking up the kind of meaningful legislation like this when they're right in the midst of the budget struggles. You know, I thought that the budget was the only thing they were worried about, but it's
Yeah.
good to hear that they are considering
it's on
other
the
things.
list. It's
Yeah.
on the list. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping that it's good news at the end of the day.
Right.
So I was just going home now because I've been here since
So where's
a couple
Don?
hours.
Where's your husband,
Well,
Don?
he's coming to pick me up.
He's going to meet you out here in front of the
He's
State House?
going to meet me out here in front of the
Oh,
State
good.
House.
Are
Right.
you going to the Thunder game on Friday?
No, I don't think so.
no?
I'm not a. I don't know. Who's going? Do you know?
Jess and Ed and Bob Stevens.
I'm looking at your shirt here. Okay, whole plant medicine.
Well, because of you,
Jerry and I are old friends.
started
We
it
go
all
back
off.
many years.
Right, right,
we got the Kuma, the compassionate use,
right.
and some of the stuff, some of the ailments.
Yeah, this it was
get on.
another nurse, Jenny Storms, made these shirts. Jerry, she has a young boy, Jax, who's about 16 years old, who has a seizure disorder, and he could not get access to medical marijuana in the form that he needed,
Right.
edible form. And I think is he also autistic? Anyway, he has some behavioral
Yeah, he's
difficulties
some-
too. So anyway, he really needs to use an oil form of medical marijuana, which just simply isn't available here in New Jersey. So what Jenny did was she packed up her whole family and sold her house in New Jersey and moved out to Colorado.
Right.
And
right.
that's where
Remember
she
that.
is now, and she's got the medicine that Jax needs, and she had to become a medical refugee from New Jersey. So
May I ask about your son, Sean?
Asked about my son Sean. Well, he was diagnosed at age of 26 with, actually it was gallbladder cancer. That's where they think it started. They weren't sure. But by the time they found out what it was, because he was so young and healthy, he led a healthy lifestyle and everything. I ate well, didn't smoke, drink, do drugs, nothing. And when they opened him up, it was totally metastasized. But I believe I don't believe the medical marijuana kept him alive for 2 years, because otherwise he would have just wasted away, because they operated on him right away and they hit him with the chemo right away. and the wounds from the surgery would not heal or anything. So without any nutrition, even with all the, bag nutrition they give you, IVs and all that stuff, and none of the medications worked. I mean, some of those pills were like $500 a piece, for anti-nausea, and they did not work. And actually, his team of doctors at a renowned New York City hospital said, these other things aren't going to work. Try cannabis. And we were like shocked, like what? And he said, yeah, that'll help him. And it was like a miracle, The first time he took a drag of this one puff, and he had a smile on his face. And it didn't make him high. He said it made him feel normal. And I've heard that from other people. And it's true. It made him feel normal, and it gave him a little vacation from the cancer, And he'd say, "Ma," he'd take a puff or two. He didn't sit around smoking all day long. He would just take a puff or two before he would eat something, and he'd say, "Okay, Mom, I'm ready for that spaghetti now. I think I can eat that." So it was like a miracle, And I'm an RN, and I know how things work, and I was amazed. I really was.
Did they let him use it in the hospital?
Sort of.
Sort
It
of.
wasn't like, we had to do it on the sly, but, because some of the staff weren't for it.
They weren't for it, yeah.
Some of the staff, but
And it was
most of them
Columbia
weren't.
Presbyterian in New
Right.
York. And, I mean, obviously Jerry and Don really wanted the best for their son, and they took him to the best hospital
Right.
in the area, even though it was very inconvenient for you
Driving up there.
to drive to Columbia Presbyterian. That's up in Harlem, right? Or in the Harlem area.
And it's
Yeah.
up there, over
Yeah.
the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
So it was some trip going up there, and it was a journey. But like I said, the
Yeah.
medical marijuana gave us the reprieve and gave him comfort, and gave him relieved a lot of his symptoms, especially the unresolved nausea. If he was awake, he was nauseous, and he couldn't eat. And he was down. He looked like something out of Auschwitz. He was so thin. He was like just a bone. It was horrible. But anyway, that's in the past, and I'm glad. And I never thought that we'd be talking about medical marijuana in front of the Capitol, but here we are. And we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yes, we
know?
do.
Yeah.
And
But thanks to people like you.
Yeah, really.
got the ball rolling.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
To take that tragedy and to turn it into something
Yeah.
positive for so many other patients. You
Right.
really were so instrumental in getting
Yeah.
this bill passed, and Don was so generous and helpful as one of the founding board members of our organization, the Coalition
Right.
for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey.
Right.
So
Okay. Well, I'll let you go.
yeah.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
Share your story. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much for
meeting you.
stopping by.
Take care.
Thanks so much
Take
for
care.
stopping by, Jerry. And just one other thing, the doctors recommended that marijuana off the record. They said, yeah, we know it works and it's going to help you, but we're not going to run it in your chart. We're not going to. Hey, Jesse, come sit down. Welcome.
What's up?
Oh,
Long time no see.
I guess because we're live.
hi, Jesse.
We'll high five.
Yeah, that's
'cause we're
good.
far away. How you
So,
doing?
grab a
Fantastic. How about
microphone.
you?
Yeah, we were just talking about the McGrath family and how the tragedy of their son having cancer. And
At
the
what age?
No, he was 26.
26
Yeah,
That's a
months.
shame.
and so he only lived like 2 more years after his initial diagnosis, but
Well,
marijuana
what-
improved his quality of
What
life.
type of cancer?
It was she said it
Gallbladder.
started in his gallbladder and then metastasized all over. So he was on
Hey.
chemotherapy at Columbia Presbyterian and just got the finest medical care available. But on the other hand, he just suffered from unrelenting nausea that no typical medicine would help except for marijuana.
Exactly.
And so marijuana really improved the quality of his life. The last 2 years of his life.
I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, I'm one of those people. Don't judge books by their cover. I mean, nausea, that you go to the hospital, you go to the ER. I've been many a time because of stress induced and many a things because of what they're doing to me from wanting to grow my medicine.
Yeah.
And I can't take the medicine that they prescribe, and I forget the name, if you give me Zofran, and the insurance companies will only cover, I think, like 6 tablets. Well, I can't take those 6 tablets. So what ends up happening is I'm in the ER, I've got an IV, next thing you know, but if I can smoke, my nausea goes away.
Yeah.
Goes completely away.
So tell us your story, Jesse. What exactly happened?
Common sense don't work in this state.
You you were growing some marijuana and
Yeah, you
well,
got some good stuff.
I plead the fifth.
I like. I'll grade it for you. I'll be more than happy to.
Actually, I just had court today. It was
had court today. What
How'd it
happened?
go?
It was just a status hearing, and it's 4 years of status hearings. And
So this happened 4 years ago, though. You
we're
were-
going on 4 years. It's 3 and a little more than a half. So
Must
we're
be
going
4,
on 4.
mhm.
I round up. It's stressful and killing me.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, I was a victim of felony assault and battery, and my life changed. And I was in and out of surgeries 2-3 years, and surgery, rehab, pain pills, surgery, rehab, pain pills. You never have a chance to like get your body intact. So finally, when I felt like my whole shoulder is not bone, my back is not bone, when I felt like I was kind of sort of put together, I looked at my doctors that were just 3 of the most amazing surgeons, and I had a lot of respect for, and I asked him, I said, okay, what's our long-term plan here? At the time, I'm 28 years old. I'll be 33 July the 5th. And I said, I'm 28. What's our plan? Because at this point, it's like I'm your gerbil on your hamster. I'm one of 4 people in the United States with this contraption in my body. And at the end of the day, they looked at me and they said, well, sweetheart, you're going to be a pain patient for life. Well, I know they went to school and they had all those shiny plaques with a lot of gold stickers on them behind them. But I looked at them and slapped my hands down on the desk and said, well, no shit, Sherlock. No shit. And they kind of looked at me a little stunned. I said, if that's your plan for me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for the language. I apologize.
So now wait, Jesse, what do you have? You said you have some kind of device in your body? You have some kind of implantation? What do you
Yes,
have?
my right clavicle is no longer a clavicle, and all of my joints. I don't know if
Oh my, yes, I see that. What is that?
it's some contraption. It's a big piece of titanium, and then there's a bunch of screws that go into my shoulder blade. It's not bone. It's part titanium. It goes into my back. That's part titanium and screws and pins.
Oh my.
Yeah, and this all happened because of someone who did it to me. I had a career. I've worked all my life, and I've been working since I was 15 or 14 with a worker's permit. And, I had my whole future and my life taken away from me. And the fact that person's roaming around free, got a year probation after I had him, they wanted to give him simple assault. Till I asked the judge, does this look like simple assault? And they recharged him with the grand jury felony assault and battery. He did a plea bargain, year probation. His life has been okay ever since.
Yeah.
Nothing really changed, but mine has went downhill.
You're
My
suffering,
bones
you get
are
to suffer
7
for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think they rated me last time I was at the doctor as like a 77 to 88-year-old male. It's not really good odds, and people judge this book's cover, and I have to face that every day because they just see this young girl with blonde hair and piercings, and that's not it. It's well, take 5 minutes to listen, and they would definitely know.
Yeah.
Because people ask me what I do for work, and it's kind of a hard question to answer. But, I have to tell them I'm on a disability, and then they're like, why? You don't look disabled. And that's just the story of my
Yeah,
life.
Right. I know. That drives me crazy, when people stand outside of medical marijuana dispensaries in different parts of the country and they look at the people going in and say, hey, they don't look sick to me. You wonder, do these people stand outside of CVS's and say, what are you doing coming out of here with a prescription? You don't look sick to me.
Oh, it's terrible. And if I have handicap plates on my truck, and I'm one of those people who I don't abuse anything, let alone a handicap parking spot. If there's a parking spot next to it, I park there. If I can walk and I'm having a good day, I want to walk.
Yeah.
And if
So you're a chronic pain patient, and you probably also suffer from PTSD as a result of of the trauma that happened to you, and you know that marijuana helps you. And
yes,
you're
I'm
now,
a card holder, but we can't get our medicine. This.
You're now a legitimate medical marijuana
Yes,
patient.
I've been
and
one.
you-
As I'm being prosecuted, as the administration's power has been taken away because it's been proven that they are not upholding how the program should be. Compassionate care. There's nothing compassionate or caring that's been operated in the state of New Jersey for this program.
$500 an ounce. That's not compassionate.
That I've been in the dispensaries that they
Plus
beg me to
tax?
grow for, and that I have seen how unprofessional it is, and how half of their plants had to be thrown out because they were hermaphrodites or they had spider mites that ate them to death.
So you're not getting a quality product from the medicinal marijuana program, and
This is my other form of medicine. I strongly recommend people get on it. Music, the Allman Brothers.
and at $500 an ounce, it's probably not a practical thing
Plus
for a person
tax.
who's on
How
plus
is
tax.
$500
Plus
an
tax.
ounce?
Yeah.
Plus,
I know
You
people
have
out
to have a
there
way to
like
smoke it.
$500 just
However
shut up and
it
pay.
is.
But you got to understand, for a month you need at least 2 ounces.
and we're talking cash money, people. No
That's
insurance,
$1,000.
no help. This
Right.
is now. I personally
Plus tax.
smoke. If I could afford it, I'd probably smoke 2 ounces a week, and
2
that's
ounces a
no
week?
that's no joke. And that's
You're in pain.
that's keeping me going. I'm a single person. I have 2 dogs, one of which is handicapped. And I live alone in the state of New Jersey. I mean, nobody's going to get out there and pull. I actually got a snow shoveling ticket a couple years ago for my town because, not that I did not shovel my snow, people, because I have 1.5 arms and I didn't shovel it good enough. I walk in, I talk to the prosecutor at the township because they just wanted me to pay the fine and go, and I was not going to do
They want
that.
your money.
She says, well, I have 80 and 90-year-old residents that get their sidewalks shoveled. I said, well, they probably have family here or someone who might want to do that for them. I said, I don't, unfortunately. And these odds of a single person, younger, living alone, being broke down is not often. She said, well, I can't take this away, but I can ask the judge for the lowest fine. So I just took the fine, and he waived the court costs, but I still had to pay him
Pay the money.
on a fixed income, no doubt.
That's all they care
So,
about.
and also you have a problem taking the typical opioids that
Oh my
are
gosh.
prescribed
Yes,
for,
all the
for
side
chronic
effects.
pain.
I mean, first of all, those pills are going to be something that I have to take on a regular basis
Right.
sometime in life. I get it. I understand the inevitable, but I am not the person that wants to take those pills. I am not. I personally have not been putting, this is a little vain, lotion on my face all my life to be shriveled up from eating pain pills. I do not want to kill my liver and my kidneys from opiates. You know, I want to be able to use those when needed, as they should be. But I was just informed by my family doctor, who I've been with and has treated me, and is an amazing doctor as well as a renowned Crohn's surgeon and treater for Crohn's disease. He informed me that the administration, I guess because about 6-8 months ago, well, let's take it all back. 3 years ago, they put all the pharmacies online. Mom and pop pharmacies couldn't afford the software. They didn't offer it to them. So they basically want to push all the mom and pops out of business. They violated our information acts by putting all of our stuff online to where people can click one button and have all the access to everywhere you've been and every doctor you've seen and what's going on in your life. That's pretty personal, I think. There's HIPAA laws for a reason. First. Then Chris Christie has his best friend passed away from opioids, but it was a heroin overdose that he said was brought on by pain pills. He tries to shut the pharmacies down from even being able to order pain medication. So now you have all these people with legitimate prescriptions and ailments that can't even get their pain medicine from the state. And the pharmacies are now not allowed to accept new patients. So where are people that are new pain patients going to go? You know what they're doing? They're filtering them all in to go to pain management clinics. They're trying to take people like my doctor, a wonderful man that I feel comfortable with, that doesn't judge me, that knows my history, that supports the medical program, that supports my dog that has elbow dysplasia and hip dysplasia being on medical marijuana. I mean, it's amazing. They've told him now, they're basically trying to push, they can't tell him he can't treat us, but what they're basically telling him is he can't give us the medication that he feels adequate for our ailments. We are now going to be, as of next month, I will be forced to take what the Christie administration tells me is right for my body, because they want to regulate what pills are on the street and how many of them are. So instead of me getting a Percocet 10 milligram that you will luckily, if you get a whole pill, maybe 4.5 milligrams of narcotic if you're lucky. The rest is acetaminophen, and for all the rest of the people that don't know, that's Tylenol. You know, they say that it would be better for me to be on morphine or Oxycontin instead of that.
Oh yeah, acetaminophen is the leading cause of liver failure in the United States. Did you know that, Jesse? It is. You know,
I'm
because
sure
it's
because
in,
the cabinet
it's not only
poppers
in
at home think
Tylenol.
it's okay because they can buy it off the counter.
Right.
They think nothing's wrong
Yeah,
because
they-
it's legal.
Right.
And it's legal drug
there's
dealers.
some think the
Damn
general
beer will
thinking
mess
is
you up.
I'm in the wrong business.
If I can buy it without a prescription, it must be safe.
Exactly, and we see how many
and
lawsuits are out
right.
there for. I just met a man actually that's daughter will probably be getting on this program. 22 years old, top of her game, soccer player. I forget what university, but a very renowned university. She's going to college because of her female issues and her pain when she could have been on maybe a capsule a day, and instead of having to do this, her parents put her on birth control. This birth control, she started feeling a little weird. She didn't know, and it was all because she's playing soccer. It paralyzed her. She no longer can be a college student, and she no longer can walk because of a side effect of a medicine that they said was okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
Only in America. Only in America. It's crazy.
Yeah, so now she's going to have the rest of her life being paralyzed. She was supposed to be a renowned soccer player. She was full ride scholarship. And her life's been taken because of something they said, oh, it'll be okay. It'll help those cramps. It'll help your side effects. But it's not natural. It's not organic. And you see what that did.
Yeah, the harms that are caused by the
Sad.
pharmaceutical drugs are just incredible. You know, and when you compare the safety profile of marijuana to the typical pharmaceutical drug,
Amen.
you know, there's no
Yes.
comparison whatsoever. It's just you know, marijuana is so much safer, so much of a safer drug. You would think that this would be the first line of treatment.
But they
And rather
uneducate
than
you and
the last
reverse your
line.
education by telling you it is the gateway, so that these
Yeah.
kids that are dying at a rapid rate, from heroin, I know everywhere. But since, I mean, shoot, I'm about to be 33. When I was 17, 18, by the time I was 23 years old, I had lost my entire core group of friends to overdose, except for 2. And they were like, just, I don't understand how they're still alive today because they're still strung out on opiates. And I'm about to be 33. And they were doing it at 17. And it started from the pills in their family's medicine cabinet to the pills that their friends could bring to school to now they're in college and they're swapping pills there. And your parents are taking you to the doctor to get these pills prescribed because your parents say it's okay because it's legal.
So actual friends of yours have died of overdose.
All of mine.
Wow.
Except for
So
2. That's from high school. You know, my my core group of friends growing up, not the ones that I have now, but you know, the friends I grew up with. Yeah, they all got into, and this is amazing to me, but in small towns, there's nothing to do. So if you are not a strong-minded person, you get stuck, and they, you know, I partied with the best of them. I'm not going to say I'm an angel, but I never in a million years could imagine sticking a needle in my arm to do opiates. And my entire town, to this day, still has a problem with it. Meridian, Mississippi, shout out.
It's everywhere. It's
Meridian,
everywhere in
Mississippi?
America.
Little Meridian, Mississippi. And then you know what the thing is? Here's the crutch with the Mississippi standard. They just allowed patients to get Suboxone, which I don't support that either. I mean, but whatever you got to do to get off that stuff, some people need it, I guess. But it's like handcuffs. Mississippi just started allowing a few doctors to prescribe that. But they only allow 100 patients to be on the program. What good is that doing? So what people are doing is they drive from Mississippi. They wake up, all my friends they used to be, they're no longer their memories. They would get up from Meridian, drive 2 hours to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to go to the methadone clinic at 3 o'clock every morning. And you get up every morning back and forth. And they would come home, and this was my first experience of methadone, and they look like zombies. And these are people with children and families. And they call them the methadone handcuffs because once you're on that program, you're cuffed up. But what they don't tell you is if you pop a Xanax with the methadone, it's better than heroin. So why does it encourage anyone to want to be clean or go more holistic? It doesn't. There's no money in a cure. As long as they can sell that pink stuff, we'll never cure breast cancer. I'm sorry to say it.
And marijuana is actually an exit drug. Many people who use marijuana find that they use it as a replacement for alcohol. They use it as a replacement for more dangerous and addicting street drugs, and they use it as a replacement for prescription drugs.
Yes,
So
and
really,
for many
really,
different reasons.
And
You've seen it firsthand, I'm sure,
right.
in your line of work.
And it's the addiction potential of marijuana is about
0.
equal to caffeine. So it's
Sugar.
not that there
Well, I
are
don't drink coffee, but
right. It's not that there are no
Sugar.
about 9% of the people who use marijuana do have some characteristic withdrawal symptoms, which can be considered an addiction. But the characteristic
I would much
withdrawal
rather sit
symptoms
next
are
to
not-
someone and
yeah.
put my money on the table if they're withdrawing on pot than if they were withdrawing
pot.
on heroin.
You know
any day
you
of
know
the
what the
week.
withdrawal on
Even
pot is
over
like?
tobacco.
The withdrawal on pot is there's never enough because it always costs too
tobacco's
much.
terrible.
Tobacco, people get mean.
Yeah, it's some irritability.
Cigarettes I do not support.
Irritability and sleep disturbance. That's it.
Hi guys, how are you?
That's the.
It's beautiful out, right? Hey, we got a little clouds. It could be hotter.
We're the Coalition for Medical
gorgeous.
Marijuana, New Jersey.
Yes, ma'am. We got a sign about something. Is that for the pipeline? Yes, no pipeline, by the way. That's our fellow people down the way.
Oh yeah.
They're protesting against the pipeline. We'll give that
Yeah.
a shout out.
Marijuana advocates are very green. You know, I was a Green Party candidate for U.S. Senate in the state of New Jersey in 2012. Got 17,000 votes.
God bless.
With no money.
That is amazing.
So,
See, if we all rally together, it's
You got
really
more
true.
than
We
a
have
weed
power
man.
in numbers. We do have power in numbers, and the reason is because we're starting to see not just like this generation or that generation, but it's like there's always been these people out there. They've just managed to overplay us and push people down, and people before me, and now there's people that have come after me, younger generations. But they've started to be affected so much by the narcotic dependency, whether it be a pain pill or now the bipolars and the schizophrenia type drugs. And, certain people, yes, that is for a certain crowd and they need that. I believe in mental health, but I don't believe your child in high school should automatically, you're sad, get on these 3 pills. No, we need to figure out why they're sad, get to the root at home, and maybe offer them marijuana.
No, they can't do that.
Absolutely. Marijuana really should be the first drug that's tried. If it's not going to help, it's not going to hurt.
Amen.
That's the story with marijuana. Why would you wait until you've tried
Why
all
would you,
other drugs?
why would you put your hands in a man that continually has to put behind his name, even though he's got that MD, it still has to be a practice because he's forever practicing. Medicine is a practice, but because it's legal, and my own family won't speak to me. I'm out here in this journey alone for the sole reason of, quote, well, Jesse, if it was legal, it'd be one thing, end quote. And I said, well, it is legal in my state. Unfortunately, our system isn't what it should be for the patients, but Mississippi has a very strong rally right now, and it's ironic because how many federal dollars in the budget go to Mississippi State every year to have the largest grow facility since the 70s, and they just got a grant to up their plants from, they only had a stupid number, like 100 and something.
University of Mississippi, right?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State?
Mm-hmm. And they got it, the scientists came to them and they said, hey, look, we've got all this data coming out, and there's no way that we can give you guys really any adequate information if we don't have a product to test it against this data. So they upped their plants to 3,400 plants to grow. But they also, in every documentary or any report you see, they will not admit that that facility is for any medical use or any research research for sure. They always make a mandatory thing to say that. But fortunately, since that's my home state, and I've had some friends go to Mississippi State, but I'm a Roll Tide, Alabama. Sorry about that. Us and our Southern football.
Mizzou, ain't it?
What city is that in Mississippi? Where the grow is?
Mississippi State, y'all don't kill me. One's in Columbus, and that's one, oh my God, BJ, you'd kill me right now.
Well, think about it.
Southern Mississippi's in Hattiesburg, one's in Columbus, and one is in, I'm gonna have to Google it, it's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah, but the inadequacy of pain management and pain treatment in the United States really is a very, very serious problem that's not being adequately addressed. When they try to get these patients off of the opioids and try to cut down on the opioids, then
Has
they're left
anybody
with,
had to do that at this table, by the way?
No.
Well, I can tell you when I did it, and I wasn't even abusing it. I was just going after surgery, and the doctors told me I wouldn't be able to walk. I'm defying, whatever. I'm defying what the doctor said right now, all because of marijuana. But it was, I'm not even kidding you, like I was reborn. Like I died in my house alone. I smoked I don't know if you're
You mean
smokers out
with,
there.
with the opiate withdrawal you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I just cold turkey.
Yeah.
And I know not even 1% of people do that, but I am a soldier. And I did it, but let me tell you, it killed me. And I saw the light, and I was reborn, and I had to grasp for that light because my insides are coming out every which way. Like I was sick, and to this day, I still have after effects of it. And it's been 3 years.
3 years since you withdrew from the opiates.
Going on 4. All because of my plants. Hi, guys. Beautiful day out. We have some nice people walking by reading our signs.
Yep. The Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey, talking about marijuana in the Garden State.
Yes.
How it helps with
a
so
more
many
positive
different,
way to treat yourself.
How it helps with so many different, and you know, this study
Looks
that came out
nice.
from the Journal of American Medical Association said the strongest evidence for marijuana is for chronic pain and the muscle stiffness of multiple sclerosis. So, you know,
So many different illnesses, so many different.
come on over.
Come on over. We're friendly crowd over here.
Here.
Have a seat.
Here.
Hi, we have some people that walked up that would like to join us.
Yeah, we're talking about how marijuana helps with chronic pain. Go ahead, sir. What were you saying?
You're all professional. That's why I said sit here, because then you can be seen on the webcast.
Oh, sorry. Well, there's a list of different medications or medicinal uses for marijuana that I've heard of. Oop.
Yes.
Oop. Yeah, they may be on. They just don't like me.
Well, you fix it how you want it, honey.
Yeah. Now, the state of New Jersey recognizes about a dozen different conditions, but we have the most restrictive law in the country. So, you know, California, for example, they say marijuana can be used for anything that a doctor agrees that it can help its patient for. And that's really the way it should be. It's going to be a decade or more before marijuana is really allowed for all the things that it can help here in New Jersey. Like, we're trying to get post-traumatic stress disorder. That would be the first mental or emotional condition that is allowed. So, anyway, and we're the Coalition for Medical Marijuana in New Jersey. We have meetings on the second Tuesday of every month at the Lawrence Township Library. You're welcome to come by and join us.
I've
7 to 9
heard-
p.m.
I've often heard that people with
Hold it a little closer,
bipolar
dear.
disorder
Bipolar disorder, yeah.
have been helped by it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Many
there's people I know that, you know, I don't really want to say the names or anything.
No, of course
because, you know,
not.
you don't want to get in trouble, but I know people that,
hold
that
it a little
need it.
a little closer to you.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm not
there-
really a professional with a microphone.
Well, no, that's all right. No, you're absolutely right with the bipolar disorder. You know, many people with bipolar disorder, that's manic depression. It used to be called manic depression, and they find that the marijuana levels out the mania part, and it lifts the depression. I mean, it has a euphoric effect. How can you be depressed and euphoric at the same time? So, you know, it's not a cure, but it helps to manage the symptoms of the condition.
Right.
It also depends on whether you're being treated and whether you're doing self-medication
Right.
or not. What you said about California, a very progressive state with respect to many different things. We're not going to talk about some of the things they aren't, but New Jersey is a very regressive state. It tends to I don't want to say overregulate, but
Hold the mic a little closer.
but its concerns,
That's better.
often its concerns are very, I don't want to say punitive.
Oh, it's definitely overregulated. You know, the medicinal marijuana program is definitely overregulated. You know, the alternative treatment centers where marijuana is available in New Jersey are more strictly regulated than full-service pharmacies that have far more dangerous and addicting drugs in them than marijuana. So,
Well, also guns too, but I know that's a separate topic.
oh, we just had somebody here talking about the guns. Is that why you're here at the State House today?
No, actually, just walking.
We were
past.
just walking
Oh,
by.
just walking by. How nice. Oh, thank you. And so you were talking about chronic pain, though, earlier, and how marijuana helps for chronic pain and how it really should be available for so many patients who suffer from chronic pain because it's not addicting or very, very mildly addicting, if at all. Only for less than 10% of the people have any kind of withdrawal issues when they stop using marijuana. And
It was used for thousands of years.
right, thousands of years, absolutely. And you know, we were just talking about how acetaminophen, which is the main ingredient in Tylenol, and it's in Percocets and many other combinations. You know, acetaminophen is a leading cause of liver failure in the United States.
May
So,
cause absolutely cause the liver damage.
Yeah.
Among many other prescription medications. and blood tests need to be run on many medications, whether it be kidneys or liver, anything that passes through your system.
Yeah.
And the scary part about it is some of the alternatives which are out there, we won't even address. Is it because of the large medical companies? Is it because they need to be protected? As far as I know, they're moving out.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly does. You know, I mean, the pharmaceutical industry certainly is a a strong force here in the state of New Jersey, and a very rich, very rich industry, and they contribute to the lawmakers here. You know, so. The lawmakers tend to listen to the people who contribute to their campaigns, or they wouldn't be current lawmakers in the state of New Jersey. So,
Very true.
you know, unfortunately, you know, until there's really campaign finance reform, I think we're going to be at the mercy of monetary influences on our policies. You know, unfortunately, you know, and these policies, affect so many people. You know, so.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. You know, and my name's Ken. I'm Ken Walsky. I'm a registered nurse. I'm executive director of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey, and we've been our organization. We're a nonprofit educational organization. We have T-shirts for sale. That's how we support ourselves, and we're dedicated to explaining to the public about the benefits of medical marijuana, because we've been seeing it in so many ways, and how it helps so many people in so many different ways, from manic depression to chronic pain. 1 in 5 people in the United States suffer from chronic pain at some time in their lives. So, yes, absolutely, and they do far less harm than the pharmaceutical approach, strictly pharmaceutical approach.
Maybe because the pharmacies only extract what they, or I should say the companies that make these drugs only extract the aspects of it that they believe are what are beneficial. Unfortunately, that logic has been stretched out even to simpler things like bread, for example, which used to be high in fiber, but because they wanted to create bread more, I guess, bread that's more have more carbohydrates in it. White bread has less fiber, which is something that we need more in our diets. So it's an extension of that whole logic, and I think we forget the natural aspects, the things that our ancestors knew about, maybe didn't were conscious about it, but knew about and used. And it's sad that people suffer. It is very sad when something that can help so many people, if given the opportunity, that they would prefer letting people suffer or have to find alternative methods that jeopardize their life in other ways. Oh, I've got chronic pain, but now I have to worry about liver failure, kidney failure.
Right.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Well,
thank you
sir.
so much
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you so much.
Good luck in your endeavors.
Yeah,
and
thanks. Well, come out to our meetings, second Tuesday of every month at the Lawrence Township Library. Or you can always go to our website, too. And if you put your email address in, we'll send you monthly updates on what's going on in the state. That's our email address, and our website is cmmmnj.org. And thank you. Thanks once again. Thanks for stopping by and sharing. That's a very good point you made, too, about the highly processed food being analogous to the highly processed pharmaceuticals. Getting away from the natural stuff. That's very good. I appreciate that. Very good bit of information. Again, where'd everybody go? This is Ken Walsky, the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. We're here podcasting live from the State House. We're hoping to get the post-traumatic stress disorder added as a qualifying condition for marijuana therapy in the state of New Jersey. The bill is passed in the Assembly, and we hope to get it into the Senate committee for hearing and to be passed by the Senate before the legislature goes on its summer recess. So, 22 veterans a day commit suicide in the United States because post-traumatic stress disorder is so poorly managed, and marijuana shows great promise in the management of post-traumatic stress disorder. So we think it's a crime basically to not allow our veterans who are suffering and are not being treated appropriately to be prevented from to prevent them from having access to this safe and effective medicine. About 9 or 10 states now of the 23 states that have medical marijuana programs do allow marijuana for PTSD, and we hope that New Jersey will soon join the ranks of the states that allow marijuana for post-traumatic stress disorder. This is Sativa Cross Podcast Radio, brought to you by CMMNJ and medicalfreedom.com. And we were talking earlier about the scant evidence that medical pot helps many illnesses. This was a report by the Associated Press that came out, what's today, on Tuesday, I believe. And they talked about the big research analysis that medical marijuana has not been proven to work for illnesses for which many state laws allow it. They say the strongest evidence is for chronic pain and for muscle stiffness and multiple sclerosis. Let me tell you about multiple sclerosis. In 2008, the expert opinion paper from the Multiple Sclerosis Society said that marijuana is effective in the management of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, including muscle spasms and chronic pain. And some of that neuropathic pain, really, marijuana works better for neuropathic pain than anything else. Neuropathic pain is like pins and needles. It's like when your leg falls asleep and it starts to wake up and you feel that uncomfortable pins and needle sensation. Well, imagine that going on 24 hours a day on your leg or your other parts of your body, and just not having any medicine to relieve it. Morphine doesn't relieve it, and yet marijuana does relieve that kind of pain. That's called neuropathic pain. Marijuana is the most effective substance for treating that, and it's characteristic of multiple sclerosis. It's also associated with HIV/AIDS. It's associated with diabetic neuropathy. Many conditions cause that kind of pain, and marijuana really is very effective for it. Well, this study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association acknowledged that marijuana is useful for these types of conditions. But the expert opinion paper that was published in 2008 by the Multiple Sclerosis Society said not only is it effective for these symptoms that are associated with multiple sclerosis, but that marijuana can be neuroprotective. It can protect the neurons. Now that's what happens in multiple sclerosis. The neurons, the nerves are damaged, and they're damaged progressively, so that it leads to progressive weakness. First, it leads to difficulty in walking, and then the patient is confined to a wheelchair. Trenton Fire Department's going by. Good work, guys. Multiple sclerosis is a progressive disease. It leads to weakness. It leads to people going into a wheelchair, and then they wind up out of a wheelchair and they wind up in a hospital bed. And the progressive weakness, because of the nerve damage, goes up the body, starts at the legs and goes into the hips and up into the chest, and eventually it stops the person from being able to breathe. And so some multiple sclerosis patients, they wind up choking to death on their own secretions. It's not a pretty way to die. And yet marijuana can be neuroprotective. Marijuana is neuroprotective, and it can delay or stop the progression of these neurological conditions that have no cure. Multiple sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or Lou Gehrig's disease, muscular dystrophy, these conditions have no cure. They're all neurological conditions, and marijuana is neuroprotective. It can protect the neurons that are degenerating in these neurological conditions. And yet they're not allowed. And yet marijuana is not allowed. And marijuana is not a recognized therapy. If they want proof of marijuana's ability to be neuroprotective, Why don't they give a supply of marijuana to any patient in the United States who has a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis? You know, that's what I would suggest. Let's get this done. At least offer the marijuana to anyone who has a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. You know, then you can compare the use of the marijuana in these hundreds of thousands of people who have multiple sclerosis to the multiple sclerosis patients who do not have who do not care to use marijuana, or because they don't want to use it, or they don't believe in it, or for whatever reason. I'm sure you're going to get a significant population of a significant percent of the multiple sclerosis patients who do not want to become part of this program, but many patients do want to become part of this program, especially because they know it's an incurable disease. Why doesn't the federal government offer it to anybody with a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis in this country? Give it through the pharmacy that the patient uses. Have the doctor who is their neurologist, who's taking care of their condition, have them document the kind of progress or lack of progress that these patients are making with marijuana therapy for multiple sclerosis, and then we would, in a couple of years, in 2 years, we would know. You know, we would know for sure by comparing the controls to the patients who are using marijuana therapy. We would know exactly how much marijuana helps these patients. What do you think, Cindy?
Oh, I know it helps these patients. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, first of all, a lot of them, when they have the muscle spasms, it really helps muscle spasms a lot. It helps my muscle spasms. And I actually have a personal story when it comes to MS. Close friend of mine, he's been here a few times, Brandon, his mother has MS. And for some reason, she's just stuck in that reefer madness where she doesn't even want to know about it. I try to show her the videos. I tried to give her the information on how it can help. And she tells me that it's just not for her. She's not going to take it. And I see her wasting away, where when I first had met her, like 7 years ago, she was walking around normally. Now she's walking, you know, with a cane and a walker, and she's had her knee replaced, and she's you know, got all kinds of problems. And, you know, she's been on experimental pharmaceutical medication for years. And I'm sure that because she has insurance, that the insurance is paying a lot of money for these experimental medicines, and they're not working. I don't see them working, but she says she goes and gets her rooster shots.
I'm not sure what that is.
No, I'm not quite sure what that means, but she calls them her rooster shots.
Mm-hmm. But she has some prejudice against using marijuana.
Total prejudice against me even having a prescription for medical marijuana. I mean, like, people still look at people. It doesn't matter if they're a patient and that this has, replaced all their pharmaceutical drugs, that they were having side effects.
It's so hard to believe that people would just say, no, you shouldn't use it. I mean, I can understand somebody saying, no, I don't want to use marijuana for my condition. But how can you say, I don't want you to use marijuana for your condition?
Exactly.
To me, I just don't understand that. I don't understand how people can say that.
These will be people with a drink in their hand, a martini in their one hand, and a cigarette in the other, and they can criticize me because of what I do. But yet, they can smoke their cigars or their cigarettes or whatever, as long as, the government has complete control over it. Then everybody thinks that that's the right thing, and that what I'm doing is the wrong thing, even though now I have a legal state license, and I am a medicinal marijuana program. I am a medical patient. I have a doctor that refers us, but I'll tell you, I am still ostracized. I am not. I've been put down in ranks. It seems like in the family unit because of.
The family's probably the toughest. Cindy. My mom never. Accepted the medical use of marijuana. To her, she grew up with that. She was one of those what do you call them? Women who worked during World War II in the factory. Anyway, a very hard worker all her life, and and she just accepted what the federal government told her about marijuana, that it was, you know, a drug that would, a dangerous drug that would lead to insanity and criminality and death, and that there was no benefits at all to using marijuana. So when people people are have this drummed into their heads year after year by reasonable and respectable, you know, people that they respect, the federal government and whatnot, you know, you give them that benefit of the doubt, but it's very difficult to overcome that, and we're seeing that in our culture. Finally, we are starting to overcome the misinformation of the federal government, but it's a long struggle, I must say.
You know, it's really hard, like when hospice comes in to the picture. When I was trying to save my dad, he was dying. There was no hope and nothing else they could do. But yet, you know, here, like, since 1954, he was allowed to save people in the first aid squad. And he was so afraid to take a natural plant that could save his life.
Right.
He was a gardener and a fisherman and a hunter, but yet this plant was so drilled into his mind that it was deadly and dangerous and corrupt and evil. But then, like, during the last days, he of course, there was no choice, and they agreed it would be okay to give it to him. But then when he started getting rapidly better in every single way. Oh, my God, I told you how fast he got better. I mean, he hadn't talked for months. He hadn't been able to sit up at all.
And many people see marijuana as a miracle drug. You know, they just can't believe the clinical response that they see when all other drugs have failed, when nothing is working, and then finally in desperation they try marijuana, and oh my God, it's like a miracle.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, I swear, it's like, I called my mom the next morning. She said for the first time he slept through the night, and she woke him up, and for the first time he talked. And he asked for poached eggs, so the first time he ate in months and months, and drank and started having martini, his favorite drink, and cheese and crackers while his people came over to visit him to see him off. They were like, the doctors were like, why isn't Cliff dead? You know, Cliff is supposed to be dead. Why is he getting better? Oh, as soon as it was mentioned that you know, he was eating,
you know, some of the really dramatic stories too. You know, like this woman who had a Tourette-like stutter, and she couldn't say words. It would just be very painful to listen to her because she would stutter and stutter and stutter, and she was a very intelligent woman, and she would try to express herself, and it was just so difficult to listen to her. And then she smoked it just took a couple of hits of marijuana, and suddenly she's conversing normally. It really is. It is like a miracle drug.
I've seen many
for so many
videos
people. Or the seizure patients who just have 700 seizures a day, and then suddenly, you know, they try every anticonvulsant medication in the pharmacy. They try brain surgery, and it's still not working. And then they try marijuana, and suddenly their seizures are under control.
Oh my God! I mean, couldn't they have tried the marijuana first?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really wrong. I mean, most hospitals they're not even allowed to even give it in the hospitals. We need to change that. We really, I know that.
Or the schools.
Pedro.
Pedro, right.
He's starting a group where he wants to go to different hospitals.
Pedro's.
Yeah. So he wants to, did you see his group?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, him and his mother and different people, they want to go to different hospitals and protest, you know, there at the hospitals that medical marijuana should be used in their hospitals. I also think that we should go directly into the hospitals. I went into my hospital, Memorial Hospital down where I live, and I spoke to them. They have a big room that we can request.
They have a what?
A big room. In the hospital, like, you know, where we can litigate, where we can go in there and we can not medicate, litigate.
Litigate?
Yeah, well, like go in there with the doctors. I don't know if I'm using the right word.
No, litigate is to bring a lawsuit.
Oh, okay, not that. Okay, I'm looking for like to talk with.
Communicate. That's what you're doing now.
No, it was actually I was trying to use a big word, but I'm going to stop right there. Okay.
Where you can talk to your doctor.
Yeah, well, where you can get the doctors to all sit down at a table and I guess like negotiate is what I might be thinking of to get medical marijuana into the hospitals. It's legal.
Yeah,
It's a legal
in the state
medicine.
of New Jersey. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
don't you
recognized
think
by the
that we
Department of
should
Health.
go there and we should
Yeah.
ask them why is this not in the
Why,
hospital?
why
if
can
it's
we not
legal?
use marijuana in the hospitals? Right.
I mean, we have
right,
people
sure.
that are medical marijuana patients.
Right.
And
You mean to say they've got to stop using the medicine that a physician recommends for them simply because they go in a hospital?
well, that's my
crazy.
point.
That's crazy.
That is my point.
Absolutely
And
crazy.
what I'm saying is, like, we have a friend from the group now that's in the hospital, and he's not allowed to use his medical marijuana because while he's in a hospital for 5 days, he has to use the drugs that they give him.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's terrible. And they say the hospitals justify it by saying, well, all the medicine has to come from the pharmacy, and we can't give you, the pharmacist can't give medicine,
from a
can't give medical
dispensary?
marijuana.
Why not? Why can't the dispensary hook up with the pharmacy if it's a legal medication?
Marijuana is not available in pharmacies because it's a Schedule I drug federally, and pharmacies must come under some federal law too.
Well, I thought Obama just changed that when he made it like legal in Washington D.C. or something.
No, the pharmacies, it's still not available in pharmacies in Washington D.C. I mean, in Washington D.C. has legalized it, but it's only, there are no sales in Washington D.C. You can't go and buy marijuana in Washington, but you can grow it if you live in Washington.
so basically
you can legally grow it. You can legally give it to a friend, but you can't buy it.
Right.
So.
Wow. So basically, they just legalized it to just make it good for their state.
Lefty's coming back to the show pretty soon. Take a photo.
Take a photo?
Yeah, please. Thank you. Because
where's my other camera? I'll take
it didn't happen on Facebook. It didn't happen. Hello, this is the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, New Jersey. We're talking about marijuana in the Garden State, and we're trying to expand the medicinal marijuana program. We're trying to add post-traumatic stress disorder as a qualifying condition for marijuana therapy in the state of New Jersey. Right now we have the most restrictive marijuana law in the country. We're one of 23 states in the country that have medical marijuana laws, and we need to expand this program. The law itself calls for expansion of the program, but the Christie administration is very much opposed to it. In fact, he said he's done expanding the medical marijuana program.
You know what?
Yes, I did. That they said that there was, the Associated Press reported that there was scant evidence of the efficacy of medical marijuana for several of the conditions that the various states approve it for. But they did recognize that marijuana was, there was enough evidence for marijuana for chronic pain and for muscle spasticities of multiple sclerosis. So, they're in one sense, they're acknowledging that marijuana is in fact medicine. But when they talk about evidence, they're really talking about the kind of studies that can get done. They're really talking about the large-scale clinical trials that would prove conclusively that marijuana is a safe and effective medicine for these various conditions. Well, these large-scale clinical trials have been obstructed by the federal government, so these trials simply cannot get done, and that's why there's scant evidence. This is why we have these states going around the federal government and passing state laws to allow for medical marijuana use, because it's been recognized for decades now, 30 or 40 years, that the federal government has been obstructing studies into the benefits of medical marijuana. And that's all that that JAMA article reflects. It reflects the federal government's refusal to conduct the kind of studies that would prove the benefits of medical marijuana.
I don't like that word scant. Scant.
Well, that was what the Associated Press. That's what the Associated Press headline read.
Yeah.
So it said that there was scant evidence, and
Scant.
it's true. Well, there is scant evidence, but why is there scant evidence? It's not scant evidence because it doesn't work. It's scant evidence because you can't get the kind of tests done. Yes, ma'am.
You actually had a good analysis of that issue in the Associated Press article, which is great. I just wonder because even though there's no randomized control studies on medical, even though there's no randomized control studies on marijuana, as you rightly said, because the federal government won't approve it on issues of safety. It's because all the toxicologic studies all over history and medical textbooks, etc., have already affirmed through neuroscience, neuroimaging, that marijuana does change your neural pathways, your neural connections, and does it harm. That's why.
No, wait. It doesn't. It never proved that it harmed the neurological pathways.
It does.
It
Have
never
you
proved,
not seen the
it never,
studies?
Oh yes, I've seen the studies, but does daily marijuana use is not associated with brain morphometric measures in adolescents or adults.
But it has. I'll send you the links. I'm
No,
a
no.
doctor. I know it.
Well,
I have done so many autopsies on people with marijuana having died either from homicides, suicides, accidents. They had their neural changes, and decisions were screwed because they had marijuana in their system.
Hello? Well, now wait a minute. You know
What proved it? What other than that just being in their system
Were
showed
they-
you that as a doctor?
Were they on pharmaceutical drugs also that
Oh,
you didn't
By
include?
far, it's only marijuana has been the leading amount or frequency in autopsy studies nationwide.
Are you sure it's not the synthetic marijuana that's coming out, the fake
No, that's
marijuana?
fairly
That is
recent.
a mess.
Historically,
Oh,
it's the
so
traditional
you're
marijuana.
denying the
I
fact.
saw that there was
HC,
I saw that there was
cannabinol.
I saw that there was a causation. You know, there was a projected causation of these brain morphometric changes due to marijuana, but there was no cause and effect relationship. In fact, in the studies, the studies only did one MRI of the brains. They said that yes, there was changes associated with marijuana use, but it wasn't caused by marijuana use. There was no proof that it was caused by marijuana.
Well, when we look at the article together, I can give my expert opinion on the matter, and I could read it as a scientist and an objective person. I have no issue on this.
Right. Okay.
It's just that knowing the difficulties that now hospitals or other providers are experiencing, they wanted to help those who are having medical marijuana registration and permission to have medical marijuana, but then they found themselves at the risk of having endangering other
Class
situations
action lawsuits
or
against
statutes, because
government
by
law.
law, federally, medical marijuana
But the
is
feder-
still a class 1 drug.
Can I ask you as a professional, and I really mean this as a professional doctor, would you be more inclined to listen to a federal law, or would you be more inclined to actually listen to a patient who could tell you real facts, real results? Would you rather listen to a group of patients, or would you rather look at pieces of paper and only read what comes out of book and law?
Well, I deal with individual patients. I deal with macro level studies, populations, databases, epidemiologic studies. I would go
You
for
say
that
databases, but
data.
do you deal with
I go for
particular patients?
the aggregate of patients, not just one, not just two, not just a family or a cluster, not just a state. National statistics, international data.
But you're doing statistics. You aren't doing an individual study with an
Oh no,
individual.
that's aggregated already. That
No,
kind
but
of
you're going off to what
covers-
someone else said. I said, you personally, having this opinion, have you ever done that study with an individual yourself to see the outcome? Or are you just going off what other quote unquote professionals and their quote unquote opinion
No, I have had, as I said, encounters individually with families, live people, dead people, autopsy studies, etc.
Yeah.
Those are one-on-one basis. And then I see the other side, which is the aggregated numbers of it.
When you say aggravated numbers.
You know, the overall picture of it. We have very still a few indications that are medically qualified, as you have said in the JAMA article, which makes sense because people still want to go for the best help for the persons who truly need it.
Right.
That's why until the evidence is held very strongly, you would err on the side of safety. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion.
Well, yeah, thanks. Now,
Just so you know, the federal government approved Mississippi State to grow marijuana because they need scientific evidence and they don't have it. That was just about a month ago.
Yeah, and they just started
Wow.
research.
Just if you're wondering.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I was just wondering, if a child has 300 seizures a month,
How about
and if
700?
they use,
How about 700 a day?
whatever. No,
What's
well, we can't
Ricardo's
talk
daughter?
about that.
She
If
was
they have
going-
300 seizures a month and taking medical marijuana oil drops that down to 3. There's got to be benefit to it. Did that go down the wrong tube, little guy? Hands up. Put your hands up. Don't choke, little guy. Ken, as a nurse, could you pat him on the back?
Oh, goodness, don't die.
He went down the wrong hole. Wrong tube. Wrong hole.
Oh, yeah, he's choking.
He's going to die live on air. I love it. Drink some water. Hello. You
That's
fine?
real love.
All I know is Ken had
I think
a
I'm
fan.
about done here, so thank you very much. And
Oh,
good
hold on,
afternoon,
hold on.
everyone.
You bring
Oh,
the
Ken,
negative,
you were
the
awesome.
negative
You killed it.
vibes, and now you're gonna leave.
It's 1 o'clock. It's 1:05. Let's start part 2 of the show. We have a few. We have one viewer.
Oh, we're doing.
We have to do
the
part
wacky
2.
Show, wacky part now.
Part 2.
So
let's
shot, beer in the shot,
let's
beer in
end
the
the
shot.
show and we'll
Shot
restart
beer.
the show.
Shot the beer. Beer in the
Shot the beer. Shot the beer. Shot the beer. Puke. That's not anyways. I want to say something before we leave.
No, that's Bill's. Yeah, that's Bill's. Watch out, Bill. Who's the bull?
Move over a little bit, Cindy. Please. Wayne, you're off camera again.
I don't care. I don't want to see
I
me.
need you. I need to see you.
You don't need to see me.
Because then I have to squeeze next to Cindy.
I'll be there.
What's wrong with you?
Let you know, baby, yeah. I'll be there.
Well, it's been a very interesting day so far here at Sativa Cross Podcast. Live from Trenton, New Jersey, outside Chris Christie's office. We're here
I don't
everything.
know. I don't think this is his office.
Yeah.
I think his airplane is his office now because he's like in Iowa.
I think his bathroom is his office. I think he eats hamburgers in his bathroom.
Oh, I don't think I know. I know he does. That guy.
Governor Christie.
He might even eat little kids.
He's nuts.
That poor guy.
That guy is absolutely nuts.
Well, didn't he promise he was going to fix this? He's going to fix this law. Didn't he make that promise to us?
Oh, yeah, he's going to fix New Jersey, too.
Yeah, he promised Jim. I was there. I got it on video. What
No,
happened?
take that mic right there so you don't got to
What
reach.
happened with that?
Okay, so who's coming next week?
I'm coming
That's the
next week.
biggest fear we got now. We need people for next week.
I'm coming next week. I should be here.
All right, let's go. Make sure you help Lefty set up.
Oh, yeah, I know. I
I
promised.
can't
today.
be here. Jim won't be here.
I promised. I broke my promise. I'm sorry,
You
Lefty.
didn't break your promise. What are you talking about?
Don't talk about broken promises.
Talking about next week.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
please.
God, I know. I owe Lefty.
Don't start. Whatever.
We're
So-
ready to start.
This is the Sativa Cross program. We're very happy to be here today. on
Fully Baked Radio
Fully Baked
live in front of the
every
State
Thursday.
House.
So there's a bunch of kids here walking around and school buses and oh no, here comes Governor Christie. Here comes Governor Christie. Run, kids, run. Run, Governor Christie's coming. Run, kids, run. Governor Christie's gonna eat you. Kids, run. Here comes Governor Christie. Kids, run. Run, kids, run. Johnny, run. Governor Christie's gonna eat you. Run, little Susie. Hide under the car, Susie. Governor Christie's gonna get you. He's gonna eat you. Run, Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Oh, he got him. He got Jimmy. Oh, he got little Jimmy. Governor Christie, he's to stop eating those kids. Oh, those poor kids. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the humanity.
They're trying not to laugh.
Hey, Christie, leave those kids alone.
That's right.
Is that a bit? So we do that every week?
I don't know.
Every time he comes to
Wow.
work, he eats kids on his way to work. Every day, there's a bunch of kids here, and he eats them. I'm telling you, the guy's nuts. It can't be eating kids. No, actually, there's no joke because, really, he does kill kids, Governor Christie.
What is that?
He does. He does.
It's
The hell were you watching?
I don't
He
know.
was
It's-
watching goats,
It
man.
looked like goat
Well-
porn.
Look, what the... Lefty.
Can I say something before
What,
we
have
is
start
that
sex with
not
sheep?
supposed
No.
to,
Nah.
is that not supposed to pop up?
You saw that, right, Cindy?
It was my
What
goat.
are you
my,
watching
it was
there,
my
buddy?
goat videos. Leave them alone. Don't judge me.
Oh,
But no, Governor
man.
Christie does kill kids because here we go, right here. Here's where we stop joking and get serious. Because look, here,
man.
Sabina Rose. If you don't know who Sabina Rose is, Google Sabina Rose, and you'll see how Governor Christie killed that poor little girl.
Well,
He killed that poor girl.
that was extremely sad, but he did put off her getting her medical marijuana, which would have saved her life.
No, that girl died because of him and his incompetence, or his intentional Maybe he did it intentionally. I don't know. But that girl died because of Governor Christie. Google Sabina Rose, Joanna.
Just ignorance.
Ignorance. I can't hear you.
Ignorance.
That's good, actually, though.
Yes.
I like that.
He's going to eat Tebow's balls, but he doesn't have any.
Stop eating Tebow. Tim Tebow pretzels. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to sell very well. He's horrible. He's a horrible quarterback.
Hey,
We're just evaluating the product.
They're very good tasting.
Product evaluation.
They taste good. Yeah. I liked it.
Need water. Water.
I had turned mine into the thinking man, but then I broke them up in little tiny pieces, and then I just settled for the Illuminati.
Oh.
Triangle. Yeah, you can eat that if you'd like.
I turned mine into a Christie, except he's thin.
Krispy Kreme.
He's Chris Christie on the shitter.
Is it?
Show it to the camera. Oh yeah, you can see it. You can see it.
Wait, what is it?
That's great.
Christy doing yoga?
No, it's Chris Christie eating a hamburger on the toilet.
Oh yes, it does look like that. Oh, that's funny. Look, there's his.
Hopefully
look,
hopefully.
Oh, you gotta bring it up closer. Show the mouth.
You eat it.
Yeah, you eat
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we can even
Good
put
stuff.
a little hat on there. There we go. Okay.
So,
medical-freedom.com.
Took a dive.
CMMNJ.org. SativaCross.com. Anybody else?
NJ Weedman's Joint.
NJ Weedman's Joint. We need a menu, but the food is great down there. We should order some food. I think we're out of time, though. So,
hey, Boston Freedom Fest's coming up. New Hampshire Hemp Rally Freedom Fest coming up. And hey, we got that 710 party coming up, right? They're Smoketown Philly 2.0, right? Let's give them a little bit of free advertisement. They want some people down there.
how about tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow?
I don't know. You want to do something tomorrow?
What's going on tomorrow, Wayne? What are you doing tomorrow night?
What is up tomorrow? I want something to do. I'm bored. It's a Friday.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia?
On North 5th Ave.
North 5th Ave.
Marley Sheen.
Oh, my buddy.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been in touch with him. Is that the swim?
He's performing? Marley Sheen's performing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's cool.
Sucio.
Sucio Gonzalez.
Sucio.
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 They're going to be doing a video also, I believe.
Awesome. So is this another private party that we're all invited to? That we're all invited to.
What do you want? Are you going to bug me?
So, anyway.
Are you going to bust my chops, Mr. Wolski?
You're going to make Lefty
Come
sit
get
on-
it. Come get your chair.
You're gonna make
Come get it.
Lefty sit on my
Yeah,
lap?
come get your chair.
Is that-
Go ahead.
is
I
that
dare
what
you.
you're gonna
Go ahead.
do? Come and get your chair.
Come on. Here. Watch Wolski get the chair.
I could pull my
Here,
Momo
I'm
up
sitting
on
right
the
here. Come get it.
sidewalk and we can both sit on it. Nah, but, he might have a cooler he can sit on. There's a cooler. We can make him sit on a cooler, though.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You can have your chair.
And Lefty can sit on a cooler. He needs
I'm
to
gonna-
cool his ass anyway.
I'm going to squat like
No,
I
they're cooler.
normally do.
Look, I want to grab Lefty his new seat.
That is like the best chair in the world right there. Can we see it?
I'm not going to take your chair.
Welcome
I'll put my hand like
back.
this on your chair. I'll stick my water bottle
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Ken, keep me in
welcome
line.
back.
Stay focused. Ken says stay focused.
Ken, you should give him the
Ken, we'll see you next
chair
week.
here. See ya.
Kenny, it was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you,
We
Ken.
love you, babe.
Ken Wolski from the CMMNJ.org Coalition for Medical Marijuana.
It's a shame that doctor with false information came over.
Well, yeah, that doctor interests me, though. I want to know more.
Yeah, but she ran away really quick when we
she
started coming out
ran.
with facts.
She was like,
Oh, yeah, she wanted to talk about her data and the things that she's read.
Yeah,
well, let me tell
hold
you
on, hold on. I don't mean to be rude.
Me neither,
I'm
but
gonna
I'll
be the
tell
rude
you.
guy
be rude
here.
anyway. I don't care. Good
I'll
for you.
tell you
Good
what.
for you.
I a doctor. I a doctor.
I a doctor. I know
No.
it all.
What was
I
she
know it
saying?
No,
all.
stop.
No,
We're
no,
not going
because
there.
I didn't understand what she was saying, bro. All right, something
I'm
about
backing him
autopsy
up. Yeah.
marijuana.
Yeah, what's she, a morticianer?
You raisy round eye.
I think she mortician.
Okay. We'll see you next week. Well, actually, we're going to do part 2 now. We're going to cut
talking
to
about?
this.
This
We're
is
gonna-
part
It-
2.
this is
No, I have to
part two.
restart. I got to restart
What do you got to restart for?
because it's going to end. And I'd
what,
rather-
what was that, a commercial?
It's a commercial. So
I
medical.
think we're allowed so much time.
Yeah, medical-freedom.com.
What?
And
we
Hey,
will,
this
we
is
will be
important.
right back
Hey,
after
what'd you think
these
about
words from our
Ken Walski
sponsors.
and Kuma? That was funny stuff.
Yeah.
Ken Walski saying, "Well, Wayne, we don't like to use the term Kuma because it's